Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Ludi Tonight. Welcome to week 4 of Ludi. My name is Jake here, and I'm joined by Nell. Nell, how are you doing today?
Hi, Jake. I'm doing great. I'm really excited to be here, especially commentating a Div 1 set in week 4. Um, how are you doing?
I'm doing well. I'm also very excited for Div 1 gameplay here. Our two teams are almost in the lobby, and we're getting everything set up here. We have Grim Life, which is a combination of two other teams, Half-Life and Grim Kraken, against Slay Kings.
Yep, it looks like Grim Life is a hybrid of two teams, so I'm looking forward to what they can produce. It looks like they've only won one set and they got 1-0, probably due to various buys or scheduling mishaps. But yeah, I'm excited to see them play. And Slay Kings is currently at 4-0, so that means that the outcome of this tournament will determine how they do.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, it'll be interesting to see what happens this week. We see our map list here. Our first game is on Undertow TC. Now, what are your thoughts on this map mode?
I mean, I feel like we all have very strong opinions on Undertow. I personally have a pretty neutral one, but uh, it is kind of a stalling map, I will say. Undertow, you kind of have to just force yourself in. You can't just, it'll be a stalemate if you don't take risks, and I'm sure that these teams won't, but I am looking forward to see that who's going to get the advantage at the start, because that will definitely dictate what the entire match will be.
100%. It'll be interesting to see, especially that first team fight that usually happens around mid, because the first team fight usually dictates how the first pushes go. And you talked about it here on a map like this. It's easy to stall. Sometimes that first push is the only push that teams need in order to be able to get a good solid push to start the match, and then they can just defend and stall for the rest of the match.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I've seen stranger things happen than having a huge turnaround on this map, though. It's quite easy to snowball if you let it, but I think that these two teams are perfectly capable of having very close match with Undertow. I'm curious to see if the rework will be in use, if the little bunker area will be in play. I'm not quite sure. I'm not familiar with the weapons that we're seeing on these teams. Do you have any ideas of what you'd like to see?
I mean, I don't know what they play, so we'll have to see. But I mean, you always gotta look out for the coolers, the Zukas. We'll probably see those things as we do get into it here. We'll be able to see what what both teams are playing. We see here a range blaster. That's another one I was gonna mention. We do see that cooler and the Zuka coming out from both sides, and we see the double Splatana on the side of Grimlife.
Oh, it looks like there was probably an issue with the start, but that's okay. We got a sneak peek as to what they're playing, so that's really exciting. Um, so I'm not too sure what's going on, but I did see a foil squeezer, so I am curious to see how that splatter color screen is going to work against the very high pressure melee comp that they have with the two Vipers.
Yeah, I mean, realistically, when it comes to screen, because I haven't really seen that much since a lot of people ban it because of all the issues and stuff. But when it comes to
Hmm.
screen, a lot of teams like to really use it as just sort of a way. I see it a lot on checkpoints just to get past a checkpoint. So I wouldn't be surprised if we see it popped against on that first checkpoint, or maybe even popped, trying to get the third checkpoint to try and get to KO there. But I mean, the screen is a very versatile tool because it moves forward, which allows you to push up as well, and it also provides cover as there's the other team can't see through it.
Hmm. I'm really excited to see the denial of space here because I think that um, it was Grimlife with the two Splatanas. They will need a lot of paint, and I figure that their range on Slay Kings will deny that incredibly. So I'm looking forward to when uh, this unfortunately Ludi is ending quite now. No, I'm just kidding. It didn't end yet. We're still waiting for this for the match.
Yeah. But I
Yeah.
mean, we'll also have to see because they might have to switch off because of that screen as well. Because some again, we talked about it. Some people don't
Oh
aren't
yeah.
able to, use it. So we might see comps change because of that.
Oh yeah.
So we'll have to see.
That may be a very likely reason as to why we saw the match end. It's possible that somebody on Grim Life is not okay with having screen played, which is okay. I mean, I'm curious as to see what they're gonna play in place of that.
I mean, maybe regular squeezer. I don't know. We'll have to see.
Yeah,
Because I mean, it's very hard to tell because when it comes to that, it's not just one weapon that has to switch around. You have to figure out how to build around not having that screen. So we might see a complete different comp. Honestly, we'll have to see.
for sure. And with screen, I feel like it's such a, let's say, large special. You kind of have to make use of it. So I'm curious to see if they're gonna have another comp that gives them the ability to deny space. We may see. I mean, I've heard strikes be played way more recently. I'm curious to see because they kind of do the same thing but in different ways. You're able to move through it. But yeah, they will have to change their comp massively if they aren't allowed to have that special based on what we've seen.
Yeah, definitely. And it's hard specifically to say like what you can use to sort of switch around. But like yeah, you talked about it. So you talked about it that the strikes could come out. We could see, a double Zuka comp. We could see God, what other specials? We could probably see Junior, honestly, or like a bubbler, because that's good. That's good to deny the Zuka, really, and it'll help putting it on tower. Realistically, we don't know what specials are going to come out. We have a small idea, but we won't know until they actually start the game.
Yeah, absolutely. It looks like that both teams are just kind of thinking right now. I'm not too sure if they're in the process of moving forward with the next upcoming match, the first match. But yeah, Undertow, am I right?
It's so true, so
It's
true.
so true.
Um, God, what else can we talk about?
I don't know. How was your day?
Good. There wasn't much. I didn't do much. Fourth of July yesterday.
Yeah, happy 4th, everybody. Happy Caesar Salad Day.
So true.
National Caesar Salad Day.
I we got to make that a thing.
So true. Yeah, but I will say this is kind of just a little me yapping for no reason, but I did encounter, we played SOS this week and we did have an entire set against players from Slay Kings, and they were incredibly quick, incredibly brutal, and I completely understand why they're in Div 1, let's put it that way. So I'm curious to see how they're going to play against a team of their same caliber.
Yeah. So, okay, from the looks of it here, it looks like they're going to game one's gonna be taken, I believe, by Grim Life here, because Slay Kings use screen, and it was past the cutoff point. So they're gonna take game one from the looks of it, and then they're gonna go with the rest of it, no screen. So that's kind of what the issue is here, why it's taking a bit.
Got it. So it looks like game one, Undertow, already taken by Grim Life. They had a fantastic set. GG's. We're we're gonna move forward to Humpback now. Humpback RM. I know Humpback RM has a lot of fans. I'm not really one of them, but my former team had a lot of fans of Humpback RM. So yeah, it looks like they're good to move on here.
Yeah, I'm indifferent to Humpback Rainmaker. I don't really play it, so it's definitely a map mode that I've seen a lot of hype for, but I've seen a lot of negativity, and both sides are both sides have reasons, justify reasons. I mean, we've seen a lot of hype moments. I think back to earlier this season with This Is Fine winning it game 9 from a bomb.
Oh, I remember
amongst,
that.
Yeah, amongst other moments, and this map is hard because as soon as you get a good push, you can also lose lead just as quickly. It's very easy once you get past that checkpoint to get a decent push and even KO. So
For sure, and I know that with, I think it was Grimlife, with Grimlife's very fast comp of two swords, we may see a play going the flank route even, you know, somebody sharking by the podium and nobody knows they're there. Who knows? But there are a lot of ways you can get in on Humpback, but there's not a lot of ways for you to get out if you are the defending team, because boom, they're right on your front lawn.
Yeah. And the other thing is, especially when it comes to mid and stuff, most of it's one-way drop. So if you drop, you just gotta hope that hope that you're safe and try and fight, really. So that's definitely something that factors into it. Is, you know, you try and flank. You can't, if something goes wrong, you can't like back up. You have to commit to the flank, you know, and try and at least get some value.
Absolutely. I will say that pushes on this map need a lot of speed and team coordination. It's kind of, this map is literally just hard, but it's hard in disguise. I don't know how to say that better, but it's deceptively difficult trying to, you have to really think ahead of where the pushes are going to be. For example, the check on the left, you have to pre-paint that basically, and it looks like we don't have to speculate anymore. We're getting right into game 2. Humpback RM. We see not a lot of changes on the comps, but we see a Splash Neo on the side of, I think it is Grimlife.
Grimlife. And yeah, that's the strikes that we were talking about earlier. That they're gonna be able to. That's the thing that's gonna be good on checkpoints and stuff. As we see two going down on the side of Slay Kings, another one jumping out there. So this is gonna be a good push here for the side of Grimlife to start off.
Yeah, absolutely. And Grimlife is not letting up whatsoever. They're already 2 down though, but I'm curious to see if they're going to continue with this push, but it looks like Slay Kings is getting back into mid. They're trying to take space as much as possible, and with the Rainmaker in their possession, let's see if they're able to take the space that they need so far.
Yeah, I mean, but the thing is, the strikes coming out, this will be good for displacement for the side of Slay Kings here. They are able to push up afterwards, so it didn't do much, but that was enough to really stall them and get the rest of their teammates pushing. We see two going down from the Zuka, the Kraken coming in. This is gonna give them a path to be able to push this Rainmaker a bit forward. We see that Sprinkler trying to paint over a little bit, not doing much. That's another 2 down on the side of Grimlife, and the Rainmaker's pushing it up all the way to 19 to 15, bringing it down to the 10-point mark before finally being stopped. But that's 2 down on the side of Grimlife, so they're not in a sound spot yet to be able to, you know, push up and paint over mid.
I mean, what did I say? They're literally on their front lawn right now. So, I mean, that's a huge lead for Slay Kings, huge lead, but like I said before, there is no telling what's going to happen. It looks like they're trying to get it off of their plat. They got it into a really awkward spot, unfortunately, so it's really anybody's game right now. It looks like Slay Kings is still... They can just easily hop it up onto that ledge, and it looks like that's what they're going to do. The pressure is not letting up whatsoever.
Yeah, you talked about it. They're playing really forward here. That's 3 down, however, on the side of Slay King. So that's gonna be the last person trying to fight against 3 people, unable to there. But this will be the first real push for the side of Grimlife since the start. And even then, they weren't able to get the checkpoint. They're able to get the checkpoint there. Barely, the Zuka's able to take out the Rainmaker after the checkpoint goes down, though.
And now the game is really starting. You can tell that there's no more checkpoints. It's all just... Everybody's just giving it their all, and it looks like Grimlife is trying to get points on the board, and can they run it? Ooh, they're 2 points away from lead right there. We almost saw them catch lead. Oh my gosh, and they're trying to get them off of their lawn, off of their front lawn. They dropped it just to get it out of their hair, and it looks like Slay Kings isn't in a safe position anymore. They're going to have to just fight for it.
Yeah, and something I noticed there is that as they were pushing it, as Grimlife was really pushing it there, they got caught on that rail. So you'd have to wonder if they didn't get caught on that rail, would they have lead here? We see one going down from the Zuka. The Rainmaker's in a very precarious spot here, able to be bailed out by their teammates though. The bombs are coming in from the side of Grimlife, just trying to stop the Rainmaker. The Zip's able to come out and get one. That's 2 down on the side of Slay Kings. And the Zip's able to push the other 2 members back. That's another one gone there. That's 3 down on the side of Slay Kings, but they should be respawning pretty quickly here, as they did have a buy a Grimlife checkpoint here. So Grimlife, they were able to stop them, but they aren't able to push it too much forward here.
This is exactly what Grimlife needs in order to get the lead. They need this pressure. It looks like there's 2 down already, but there's no specials on either side except for Azuka, and in that choke point, you really don't want to be there when the other team has Azuka. They're doing all that they can to keep this push alive, just barely dodging that Kraken. I don't know how they're still alive right now, but that's just the power of Div 1. For 2 down on the side of Grimlife, I firmly believe that they have the capability to get another push going, though.
And the zip coming out from the side of Ezio here, only not able to get one there. They got one right before the zip, and we see Beam here trying to push up the Pencil doing a good job of just trying to keep them back and trying to keep them spaced out here. The Rainmaker will most likely reset, and it does. There's one behind Slay Kings here. The strikes are coming out from the Rainmaker, however, 1 going down, 2 going down. That's delayed 3 down on the side of Grimlife. Slay Kings is in a very good spot here. With under 30 seconds left, they have control of the map, and they all they really have to do is just defend the Rainmaker.
Absolutely. I don't foresee Slay Kings grabbing the Rainmaker. I foresee them just defending and letting Grimlife go to them. And as you can see, that's exactly what they're doing. Grimlife has to get in there. They have to just kind of walk into their fire in order to get a push going. And Slay Kings is 2 down. It looks like Grimlife has the Rainmaker right now. They're trying to make a push going. And I don't know can they do it?
I don't know. It's going to be hard to tell. They have momentum here, but Slay Kings has a bunch of bombs here that will be able to back it up. The Kraken's coming out, trying to go after the Rainmaker. The Kraken, I don't believe, will be able to get the Rainmaker, but it is able to push it back. So, and then they were finally able to get a shot across the map there to be able to stop the Rainmaker. And that's Slay Kings taking game 2.
All right, that was a pretty balanced game right there. I mean, like we said before, once the checkpoints went down, everything was on the table. There was no clear winner. It was all back and forth, very even. But towards the end, I think Grimlife just kind of took, like, fights when they couldn't. They just had to risk it all, and that was the risk they needed to take in order to win. It just wasn't in the cards. So, yeah, let's take it up to Mahi Mahi Resort, Game 3.
Yeah. Well, sorry. One little correction I would like to make. What I said earlier about the screen is that Grimlife banned screen past the cutoff point, which is why Slay Kings took game 1. I had it the other way around. Yeah, Slay Kings. That's how they're up 2-0. But yeah, Mahi Mahi Zones here is definitely another, I guess, lockout heavy map. Especially after you get the zone, but it's hard to tell with these comps how far people will push up to lock out.
Absolutely. And in low level, where I come from, it's quite easy to just say don't drop right, because it's just a death trap if you drop right. So I am really excited to see how far they're gonna push, to see how much of a lockout can happen, like you said. I'm curious to see if their comps are going to change whatsoever, because technically that was the first game that we watched, so this is technically game 2, considering the screen ban. But yeah, I'm curious to see if they're going to continue with the strikes, considering the amount of paint that they need to cap zone, all that kind of stuff. But Mahi is a very quick map. You have to keep focused or else it will snowball.
Yeah, and another thing to think about is, the gimmick of this map is halfway through at a certain point, that water level drops, and that opens things up a lot more. So it'll be interesting to see how both teams play around that if it gets to that point, or I should say when it gets to that point, because at some point the water does drop, whether it's based on the points going down or based on time. So it'll be interesting to see sort of what teams do in that, coming out of when the water level does drop.
Looks like we don't have to think about it anymore. We're getting into game 3. Looks like we see an Explo on the side of, I believe that is Slay Kings. I am excited. I have a lot of Explo friends. I'm curious to see. That's their way of taking space. That's for sure.
Yeah. I like C Explo. It's a good choice here. We do see here the squeezer going down pretty quickly, and Grimlife able to get the zone first. They're trying to push up here a little bit too far. They're able to back up, and that Explo is playing forward, able to use the splashdown to get the picks there, and this is the most aggressive I've seen an Explo play in a while. But that's helped them here get the zone, they get the lead, and they're in a good spot already.
For sure, and I know that this is a very back and forth map. They're pushing quite hard. They're trying to keep this push going. They don't want a penalty. They do not want that penalty, let's put it this way. And it looks like Slayykings is getting a few picks here. Grimlife just needs to make something happen. They have to farm special. It looks like Azuka's coming out. They have to find a pick in order to get in there.
They're not able to find those picks though, and Slayykings have gotten the zone once and haven't given up since. They're in a very good spot here with 2 down on the side of Grimlife. That's another trade. That's going to be in the favor of Slayykings there. But that's going to be the zone down to 20. The points are taking down very quickly here, and Grimlife is in a situation where they have to get in there quickly. The last 10 points, it's down to 9, down to 8. There's 2 down on the side of Grimlife, 3 down on the side of Grimlife, and that's going to be Slayykings taking game 3 as well.
Mahi moment, my beautiful beloved map. That is, yep, that is a 3rd win for Slayykings. The score is now at 3-0, and I was for sure certain that Grimlife was able to get back, and they were really close to capping that zone and giving Slayykings a penalty, but they just weren't able to do it. Slayykings just has this insane forward pressure that, especially with the addition of the Explo, you can't just contest that. And, you know, the only thing that can contest that is the zip and the pencil, really.
Yeah, definitely. And I mean, with how forward the Explo is playing as well, that's a lot of pressure on for the side of Grimlife. And I really think that's what the difference was the splashdown. The splashdown plus, you know, how forward the Explo was able to play with the splash ball. And like I said, the splashdown coming out, being able to save itself in tricky situations, it allows it to play a more aggressive, aggressive position, which I think really helped them there because that gave them more pressure when they pushed up, you know, into Grimlife's base.
Yeah, for sure. I'm curious to see if we're gonna see Explo come back out on Clamps Barnacle. Probably not, because I know that Explo is a very paint zones happy weapon. So I expect to see a lot of quick weapons. I expect to see the 2 wipers back. We never saw them come back, unfortunately. I miss them.
Yeah. I don't know if they just, you know, that was just a 1 map thing. I would love to see the double Splatana as well. I think it's a very interesting comp that can, if used correctly, is very dangerous. But it's interesting because the mid section of this map is very flat, so it's hard to pick the map. We see the range coming out from the side of Slayykings, and the 52 coming out from the side of Grimlife.
Yeah, I see a heavy edit, which is the first time we're seeing that in this round,
Yeah.
and I am quite ecstatic about that. It looks like they have a very fast-paced backless comp, so I'm curious to see. There's not a lot of backlines on the map right now. It looks like everything's neutral. They're just trying to get their specials. A ball is already formed on the side of Slayykings. They are wasting no time, and there's already 3 down on the side of Grimlife. The final, oh, that's a wipe out for the side of Grimlife. But this gives them an opportunity to come back fresh and strong.
Yeah, and the thing I like most here about Slayykings is they're playing their tempo. They're forcing Grimlife here to play a lot more faster than they want to really here, and that's allowing for Slayykings to take the advantage because they're playing the tempo that they want to play and they've practiced on, which is really smart and a really good good on them to be able to actually have that aggressive tempo that they're able to keep without going too overboard.
I completely agree, and they wasted no time getting those balls into the basket, and it looks like this is an opportunity. That flank is an opportunity for Grimlife to get back in there. The beam is sharking. I don't know if they see that. The basket is still open. I'm just. There's 2 down on the side of Slayykings. This is Grimlife's opportunity to get back into mid and get some points on the board.
Yeah, I mean they're really playing it a lot slower than I expected here. They're not pushing up as much as I think they probably could have. I mean, granted there were people alive on the side of Slayykings that could take them out, but they feel a little bit like they're playing scared because they know how strong Slay Kings is. And that's something that you don't want to do, and especially in a div like this, we see that they're trying to push up a little bit here, but the Shark there, getting caught out by the 52, and nice use of the Whale there. The 52 pushing up, able to get one and get traded out there. That's 2 down on the side of Grimlife, and that's the advantage for Slay Kings again.
I mean, I agree with you. It feels like Grimlife is kind of playing a little bit disconnected. I see their specials coming out at different times. They're trying to make something happen just very sporadically, which is all they can do when they're playing at Slay Kings' pace. That's all they really can do. It looks like they were trying to make a ball. A ball is made. Let's just see if they're able to score. They're kind of distracted by the person on the top right there. I hope that they're able to get the power to go score. They're coolered up. This is their opportunity to get in there if they can take care of all of the straggling players from Grimlife.
Yeah, and we see that Whale coming out, getting the taking one. That's one down on the side of Slay Kings. They were able to get another one there. That's going to be huge. That's 2 down on the side of Slay Kings, but they aren't able to get much more here. But I mean, the other thing, we're talking about the disconnection of the specials. It really feels like they're just trying to make a lot of different hero plays, going in and trying to get kills. We see here the Hammer coming out, not able to get anybody, but they really are just trying to make hero plays, 2 going down on the side of Grimlife, and Slay Kings with the advantage again.
Absolutely, and with the Kraken coming out, they just are crumbling under the pressure. There's nothing else they're able to do. They're thrown the entire kitchen sink at Slaylife, and there's just no stopping them. Slay Kings has an incredible coordination to them that when their mind is on something, they're going to make it happen. They just no faltering, they're going to make it happen. Let's see if they're able to score the final 3 clams here, and it looks like the basket is going to end with a penalty. This is Grimlife's final opportunity, I think, to get points on the board before this becomes a knockout.
Yeah, because I mean, if they give Slay Kings one more push, it's gonna be pretty much over. They do have 2 balls, but they have a monumental task in front of them. They have to get it all the way down past 7. They have to pretty much score this, pretty much KO in one push or a couple of pushes here. With just under a minute left, they're in a very dangerous position, and they have to try and get something going. We're seeing a bit more of the special coordination with this, the Whale and the Cooler coming in at the same time. But that's 3 down on the side of Grimlife. It's just that edit. And Grimlife forced to back up here. The ball is being made from the side of Slay Kings. They're looking to try and make the final push here.
Absolutely. It looks like they are hungry for the knockout, and they are not going to stop until they get it. This is still absolutely probably winnable for Grimlife if they're able to coordinate their specials, if they're able to maybe get a wipe off Slay Kings, but with 3 down on the side of Grimlife, it's not looking good for their push. And with 3 seconds left on the board, it looks like they may get in overtime. We'll see if they're able to make something with it, though.
Yeah, they do get the ball, but there's another one trying to score. They do miss, and that's 3 down on the side of Slay Kings. However, if you're Grimlife, you have to be able to push it in. They're able to get that ball, and that's going to be huge, but they have to back it up. And that's 3 down on the side of Grimlife. They tried to push in, but they got pounced on by the entire team, and they were unable to do any more of that. They just stand there in front of the opponents as they go up 4-0.
Slay Kings is not backing down. I will say that if that final push happened just a little bit earlier, maybe with 30 seconds left on the clock, the ending would have been a little bit different. But that's an insane that they were able to get the ball in overtime. Those 3 down were just perfect for them to pounce on that opportunity, like you said. And if they were able to make that happen a little bit earlier, if they were able to have like a little bit more coordination, then the outcome of this battle would have been quite different, in my opinion.
I agree, and that was huge that they brought it to 3 down there. But they were really unable to counter to push that quickly because they didn't have that much space They didn't have that much
to
space
take
on
the
the map.
advantage.
It
They're
wasn't
playing
really
the tempo
painted
that they want to play,
so
and
they were able to get
they didn't have the advantage to be able to keep
good
it
on
going.
them to be able to actually
Absolutely,
have
and
that
the score is
aggressive
currently at 4-0
tempo
for
that
Slay Kings and
they're able to
Grimlife.
keep
Grimlife will
without
have to have the
without going
mental
too
fortitude
overboard.
of a. I completely agree, and they wasted no time making a reverse sweep happen. But I believe that they can. I firmly believe that if they're able to take one game off of Slay Kings, that will probably give them the momentum that they need. It'll give them the mental that they need, and it'll kind of knock Slay Kings off of their podium a little bit, you know?
Yeah, I mean, I completely agree. It's people always say, one game at a time. So, and that's how you got to take it, really. And in this situation, you really just have to reset that mental and be like, hey, we can make this reverse sweep happen. So, and on the side of Slay Kings, you're not as worried because you're up 4-0, so they have to, win the rest of these games, and you only have to take one to win. So if you're Slay Kings, you're pretty relaxed. I mean, obviously not too relaxed, so that you slip up and let Grimlife get back into the game, but just relaxed enough that you're not, tense that this will be close, and this will be, we could lose at any point. Like you're in a good spot here. You just have to finish it out.
Absolutely. I will say that if I was in Slay Kings' spot, I would feel more stressed out than ever before, frankly, because the instant you lose one after this winning streak of 3 games plus the one that was skipped, it can really mess with your mental. You're like, okay, these people can absolutely do this. Yes, you're feeling comfortable, but at the same time, you're also incredibly uncomfortable. The fear of Game 9 is instilled in all of us, truly.
Yeah, I completely agree. That's definitely how I would feel. I would be more stressed, but at the same time, again in that situation, like, hey, we can just close it out as quick. But I mean, getting in a ship-shape PC, this one is very known for how much you can steamroll if you get one good push. It's very snowbally. So it'll be interesting to see if Grimlife can get one good push. Maybe they can just take it that quickly. So we'll have to see.
Absolutely, and as much as we all love to see just a huge steamroll, I like to see a little bit of a scrappy fight on this map. I like to see back and forth, I like to see fighting over checkpoints, all of that stuff. This map is just the jack of all trades when it comes to back and forth moments. So it looks like Dan is coming out on the Forge Pro. I am excited to see that. They need that little bit of range, I think, with that aggression, and we're seeing no changes on the side of Grimlife. So yeah, let's see who's able to take mid here. Both are just fighting for specials right now, trying to see who's able to get the first pick and who's able to push up faster and harder.
We do see Slay Kings going one down. That's if Grimlife is smart here, they try and push it up. That's 2 down on the side of Slay Kings. This is and as we say that, they do get on tower. They get another one, that Forge Pro going down. This is what you want if you're on the side of Grimlife. You're getting picks here, and you're pushing the tower quickly as well. Bazooka's coming out, unable to get anything, but Pencil's able to get it before the edit drops off. The Pencil's barely able to survive there. They aren't able to get checkpoint as the Blaster is able to push up there. Getting another one as well. That's going to be 2 down for the side of Grimlife, but due to the core, they're able to respawn quickly. So, I mean, but that was a decent first push for the side of Grimlife, but honestly, it's not going to be enough. Grimlife, however, getting the wipe out there and able to get the tower before he got a real push started for the side of Slay Kings.
I think this is absolutely what Grimlife needs. This is the morale that they need. This is the boost that they need. I feel like they're able to take this if they just continue with that mental, if they continue with the pressure. It looks like there's 2 down on the side of Grimlife, but this is still absolutely winnable. If they already got through that check, all they have to do is prepare for the next one if they have the manpower for it, as Slay Kings is getting back in their groove. Grimlife is 2 down. They're still holding cooler, so we're not going to see anybody come back quickly. We see 2 people on the side of Grimlife on the left. They're trying to make something happen, trying to not let the tower go back too far, but they want to keep their momentum as much as possible, but Slay Kings is making it incredibly difficult.
Yeah, we see there one going down to the hammer snipe. The Pro almost going down as well. That's 2 down from the side of Grimlife. They did have cooler, though, so it's not going to be too much, but Grimlife having so much control over mid right now is going to be huge, especially with how on the foot they're going on the ball here. They're really they're doing what Slakings was doing earlier. They're really matching the tempo of Slakings' earlier game. I think they realized that they have to play a lot more aggressive here in order to win. They have to play a lot more confidently. You know, take fights that in the past games they normally wouldn't. Here, as we see one going down, two going down on the side of Grimlife here, and this is going to be the first real push from the side of Slakings.
Absolutely, and as they prepare for the first checkpoint, you can see a Booyah Bomb coming out, trying to get more paint pressure, trying to look for a pick. Can't seem to find anybody, still holding. Looks like they're going to be aiming it exactly towards the Zuka clip spot that we all know and love on that ramp. Though it's a clear path, they are not letting up. They have already taken the lead. They are preparing this tower for glory at this point. Grimlife is just throwing themselves at the tower at this point.
Yeah, again, this all goes back to those hero plays that we were talking about earlier. They're trying to just throw themselves on the tower and get a couple of picks to start something, but they keep feeding instead. They're going 1-2 down in situations. 52 is able to get one. They're able to get two. That is a wipeout on the side of Slakings, but they brought it all the way down to 19, which is going to be a tall task for the side of Grimlife to get all the way down there as well, with how Slakings have been playing so far this set.
Absolutely. I think what Grimlife really needs is some coordination. We see picks coming out on the top left, but nothing to follow up. We need some paint on the right. We need to paint the way that the tower is going. It looks like they're coolered up. They're prepared for anything right now. And I think this is exactly the setup that Grimlife needs in order to make something happen. They just need that forward pressure and that coordination. And you can see a frontline Headit just kind of taking picks as much as possible. But the tower, there's nobody on it.
Yeah, nobody's on the tower, and they do go 2 down, which is also a bad situation. The stamp gets canceled there, which is going to be huge. And that, with under a minute left, there's another one going down. They're really starting to stagger a little bit here. The Zuka's coming out, unable to get any picks here. The edit does go down eventually, but in a situation like this, Slaking still kind of has the advantage. They have the lead, and they have a lot of paint towards mid. The Wipers here able to they aren't able to get anything. That's 2 down on the side of Grimlife. That's 3 down on the side of Grimlife. That's a wipeout as I say that, and that's going to be huge with under 30 seconds left. This is looking dire for Grimlife.
It's going to be a very tall task indeed in order for Grimlife to get the lead here, but I firmly believe that they're able to do it. If they're able to get a few picks, and they are, they just have to get back in mid, get the paint, get the specials out, and they have to play together first and foremost. And with that huge pick, with the hammer snipe, there may be something happening. We're in overtime now, but that Booyah Bomb is just going to annihilate the tower, as it always does, and that's a wipeout, and that is 5-0 for Slakings, winner of this Div 1 set.
Yeah, and I believe that puts Slakings at 5-0 in their records as well, which is very strong going into the playoffs. I think they're pretty much guaranteed. They're pretty much guaranteed playoffs for their group. I'd have to check again, but they are like they're the only team that's 5-0 at this point.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I would be very proud of myself if I were Slakings right now. Going 5-0 in their group of Div 1, that is a really, really cool thing to do. And yeah, congratulations to both teams. I will say that Grimlife really got their footing kind of later into the round. They played a bit more cohesively in this most recent match, and you can just kind of tell, you know? You could tell that they were thinking, okay, we can get a few wipes on them. This is entirely winnable, and it was absolutely winnable. I would like to see these teams battle again sometime.
Yeah, and I mean, that was really good from the side of Slakings. They played pretty perfectly there, and yeah, like I said, they're 5-0 now. They are locked into playoffs no matter what. Unless, well, actually no, because there's no way 3 teams 5-0. So yeah. They are locked into playoffs because the only other team that's undefeated as of now, that's 2-0 currently, or 2-1 currently, I should say, actually. Yeah, they are the only team who's actually undefeated, well, now, as of now, since Grimlife lost. So they are guaranteed that number 1 seed in their group, I should say.
And that's awesome. That's good for them. It was such a treat to be able to watch and commentate these matches with you. My gosh. I mean, it was so much fun. I really do wish I could have seen the screen be played, but, you know, uh, with the rules, you can't do much about that. So,
Yeah. And you know, looking forward for Grim Life, they are only 1-1, so they have a couple of games that they do have to make up. From the looks of it here, from what I've seen, they have yet to play 37 Sexy Boys and Cafoon, I think is how you say that. So, and then their last game, their next week's game is going to be against Solstice. So we'll have to see what they can do, because I believe if they win out here, they should still be able to make playoffs as well.
absolutely. I know Grimlife has a huge chance in this group just because they've had so many timing conflicts, I believe. Yeah, so that's why they were currently at 1-0 and now they're at 1-1, which I still think is quite a strong opening while they do those matches that they missed.
Yeah, and that's sort of why Ludi has that week 6 for all those reschedules and stuff. You know, before you get into the playoffs here, but yeah, it'll be interesting to see how Div 1 shapes out in general, especially with how dominant Slay Kings has looked so far, only dropping 6 games this entire group stage.
Yeah, absolutely. And considering that it's week 4, I'm curious to see how everybody is going to be faring next week.
Yeah, but that will be it for us. Nell, where can the lovely people find you?
Of course. So you can find me on Twitter, formerly known as Twitter, at Nellfire, but the I is a 1, so NELLF1RE. I post funny things. And Jake, where can we find you?
You can find me on Twitch and Twitter at JakeRoot0, and you can find me all around the Splatoon 3 category.
Hell yeah. Heck yeah. I'm really looking forward to maybe commentating more with you in the future.
Yeah, definitely. I had a lot of fun here. To preview the next sets coming up, I believe we have a Div 3 set coming up between Triggerfish, Zone Supremacy, and Impulse. And then right after that, we have Ziphius versus Riptide in a Div 7 matchup. So stick around for those. This is Nell and Jake signing off.
Hello everybody. Welcome back to Ludi Tonight. We are here with another set for y'all. We got Triggerfish Zone Supremacy versus Impulse. And for Triggerfish Zone Supremacy, everyone has their own taste. Their taste may be wrong, but everyone's allowed to have their own personal preference for their favorite zones mode. Anyways, I am Topic. I'm joined by Tux here today. Ready to watch some Splatoon gameplay, are we?
Yeah, I'm really ready for this set. Triggerfish Zone Supremacy and Impulse have both been on stream at least once on Ludi tonight, so I'm excited to see them play again. Yeah, especially because Triggerfish Zone Supremacy, they have like interesting weapons. Krakenmare plays things like Brush. I think they played Undercover last time on stream. Really interesting stuff coming out from Triggerfish Zone Supremacy. Impulse, they seem a little more conventional in their comps, but they had a really great showing last week, a really close set against WD-40. It went to Game 9, and they took that.
Yeah, let's hope for another Game 9 this week as we start off with Undertow Tower. One of the most interesting, in my opinion, because I like Undertow on certain map modes. It just, unfortunately, Tower isn't one of them. Because while the Tower path does use a lot of the map, I do feel like it is kind of hard to get a push going since it is kind of stuck on that left side for a majority of the Tower path.
Yeah, that's true. I think, and especially after that, it can be pretty snowbally because the tower gets stuck right in front of Plat, and once you have that last check, it's pretty much over. So that's going to be the win condition for both of these teams here, I think.
Yeah, we talk a lot about, especially on tower control, of it's usually for a lot of maps with 3 checkpoints. The second checkpoint is going to be the breaking point. It is going to be the choke point that a lot of teams want to hold on to. And I think especially on Undertow, this is one of those maps that is very defender favored. So I do think we'll see someone get to second checkpoint, though breaking it is a different story.
Yeah, definitely. That first check's gonna be free. We've seen an Explo coming up from Vapor. I should have mentioned that earlier. That's to be expected.
You talk about Undercover. Yeah, we do see some very, very interesting weapons from Triggerfish Zones. We do see the custom Explo and and the undercover like we talked about with a lot of sub power-ups. So those mines are going to be very, very destructive here. On the side of Impulse, a lot of more conventional comp. We do see that heavy edit instead of a pencil, which is going to be very useful for them since it is very much more aggressive. As we do see Triggerfish zones go 2 down, and the edit on tower is able to just paint up a little bit. However, they have to watch for this undercover on the side. It is going to work and get them off tower just a little bit longer. A reslider from the undercover does manage to get one, and looks like Impulse is forced back a little bit here as this is a bit 2-on-1. Unfortunately, the machine does get the trade, not a kill, and with only the Expo left, Impulse has a chance to extend their lead just a little bit further.
You know, considering Triggerfish Zone Supremacy doesn't have a cooler to work with, they've been holding mid for pretty long so far, although they are going to go 2 down with only Vapor left, and Impulse is going to take that first check pretty much for free.
Yeah, that first check is in a very, very good spot, especially for the attacking team. It is so close to mid, it's so protected, and there it goes Zonic on the rapid deco, able to get a pick here. Unfortunately, a lot of people do go down, and Impulse is not able to go even further. Though a push to 52 is really, really good. It's all about how they can kind of translate that momentum on defense here, as we do see Triggerfish Zones trying to get something going. Cracking on this undercover on tower is forced off. The crab is going to be popped for Impulse, just shooting over the tower is going to work to force them back. And now we do see Triggerfish Zones kind of stuck here in mid. Azuka is going to try to be used here to get some space. It's not going to work. They don't find the pick, and with that, Impulse is just holding on very well, not cooling down, and in fact getting a kill in their favor.
Triggerfish Zones does have a lot of specials to work with still, but they're going to have to be careful. Like I said, they don't have a cooler, but they do manage to get 2 down on Impulse. They're going to finally try and get a pulse. They do have 3 down now. It's just Arbiter left, and now they're gone. This might be the push that Triggerfish Zones has been patiently waiting for. Without that cooler, they can't just rush in, you know? They have to play a lot more safe. They play a lot more together. They can't just feed. They have a really nice hold on right side, able to get a trade. Oh, they are 2 down now. I'm not sure if they're going to be able to get second check and get lead, but it is going to be a nice start for Triggerfish Zone Supremacy in this game.
Yeah, patience is a virtue for Triggerfish Zones at the moment. However, they aren't able to get through that checkpoint, or they aren't able to take lead here, as Impulse does get a pick on the machine. Now that they have a really good opportunity to try to get a little bit further. We do see the squeezer here, trying to stay alive. It's not going to work. Sawless on the splash is able to get one. It looks like almost uncontested. Impulse is going to break through that second checkpoint. We were talking about that choke points earlier. Here we go. Looks like they're going to be scoring a lot of points. Azuka does come out to the stall tower. It is going to work. The splash still sitting on tower. The rapid goes down. The splashdown is out. Somehow the bucket survives and manages to jump out. Unfortunately, they do go down, leaving only the heavy edit left. But that's another good push. It's just been, even though Impulse hasn't been able to push a lot, they've been getting like really, really damaging pushes here.
Yeah, absolutely. That being said, I think Triggerfish Zone Supremacy has a pretty good defense. They just are lacking a little bit in offense. I mean, they have Reef Slider. They have like strange specials, I guess. They do have double Zuka, but it's not really enough so far to get them in. I mean, it's a 2v2 right now, and Vapor's holding that check really nicely. And a nice pick from Vapor. They might... I don't know if they're going to get lead. It looks like it's being pretty well contested by Saf on the slosh.
Oh, 1.0 away. Vapor on the high flows, not able to get it. Just bowling on the machine, trying to stay alive. Azuka's at the ready. The squeezer does pop Azuka, trying to get a pick here. They does find 1, that's fine 2, does find 3. Impulse is now going 3 down. Triggerfish Zones about a minute left. Has an opportunity to get on tower. Unfortunately, no one gets on it for just a little bit longer. Bowing and a little bit of playing ring around the rosy with a splash. Does get 1, does get 2. Going for the triple. Does get it taken, and there it is. Triggerfish Zones takes the lead, takes the checkpoint. Now with about 10 ticks left, only the splash left. Impulse just dropping, trying to get a pick, trying to do something, and unfortunately, the snowball just kept on rolling, and Triggerfish Zone Supremacy takes game 1, snatches it from Impulse's hands.
Wow, yeah, absolutely snatched from their hands. That's what Triggerfish Zone Supremacy needed to get on Impulse's plat and just to wreak havoc. That was really clean at the end. I feel like they played that really nice and patiently. Like I said, they had really nice defense. They didn't panic at the best time, and they were able to come back.
Yeah, and shout out to Boeing on the machine, just being able to stay alive and getting 3, that really helped. Just getting them down. And notice, Impulse did not have a cooler, so they had the full respawn time. That gave enough time for Triggerfish Zone Supremacy to get lead. The edit did drop, they do go down, and by the time the rest of Impulse came back, another Zuka got popped, and they were just able to ride it into the sunset, a celebratory splashdown. And you know what, you were talking earlier about unconventional specials. They made it work. They made it work. That's all I was gonna say.
Yeah, definitely. I think they just play their cards right. You know, like they didn't need they don't need to be carried by their weapons. You know, like they just play that really well. And that's what got them the game. And also, I think Explo is actually really nice on that map. Like, you could see Vapor holding some really good positions. And speaking of Explo, we got Humpback Rainmaker coming up next, which I think would be good for Explo. I've never played it. I know it's definitely good, considered to be good on Humpback, but Rainmaker, I'm not sure. Maybe some people would consider it to be slow, but I think Vapor, I don't know what else Vapor plays. I feel like they're an Explo one trick. I'm not sure. We'll have to see.
I'm a bucket player, right? I play the slot. I did play Slosher. I play Tri Slosher. I play Machine. I play Explo. I don't play Blob. That does not count as a Slosher. As Humpback Pumpjack is one of the best Slosher maps because the amount of hills that you have, the amount of just very weird angles that you're allowed to just hold for free is really nice. And speaking of Expo, it can hold bunker really well. Yes, it is a conventionally slow weapon, I would say, but just from like mid or the enemy bunker, you can hit over to their plat. That gives your team a lot of extra space to work with because Explo paints so much. Even though, yes, you don't necessarily want it to be the Rainmaker carrier because it does have that the movement penalty for being a heavy weapon. So, but just having it in the back, just providing a lot of pressure from mid, and plus, if a Vapor stays with that custom Expo at any time, they could just be a Superman cosplay and come down out of nowhere and just clear an open path for their team.
Yeah, absolutely. I think Splashdown on this map is especially scary. We got a Brush and a Junior coming out from Triggerfish Zone Supremacy.
Yeah, very, very paint heavy here. The Brush, of course, very good distraction weapon. We do see, like you said, I do see a Junior. So it looks like Triggerfish Zone Supremacy just wants to paint the map. Looks like that's what they're going to try to do as they do get pop. However, Saf on the bucket's going to be able to contest. And there we go. The Expo doing exactly what it does. Just keep it space, just sending sloshes everywhere, is able to hold them back for just a little bit longer.
Yeah, absolutely. That Explo just holding a lot of space. They're gonna opt to go left here.
Oh my!
They don't get the check. They're stopped really quickly by Impulse. Probably by Saf. They were able to catch that really quickly. It was an interesting choice from Triggerfish Zone Supremacy, but I can understand it. They were probably trying to catch them by surprise. We got some strikes coming out from Saf. They're gonna opt to try and go for right stack. The edit does go down, though, and it's gonna hurt a little bit of their midline range there. They do manage to get a pick. They're still holding Rainmaker, but I don't think they're gonna get much of a push here. They're just trying to stall for time with this Rainmaker as long as they can.
Yeah, and I keep saying it, but the Expo just painting up that Rainmaker space is what you want to do. Right now, Triggerfish Zone's comp is kind of based around chip damage. They do have the bombs from, of course, the Junior and the Ink Brush. They do have just Machine being Machine, and they have the Explo just sending splashes. It looks like that is going to work to the advantage. The bubble on tower, or bubble not on tower, bubble by the pedestal was able to hold here, allow them to get through the checkpoint. The splash goes down. The Zuka does get 2. The edits down. The strikes come out from Saf trying to stay alive. It is not gonna work. And you get a trade, but with Cooler, that's gonna be in their favor. Vapor just picks it up and runs for YOLOs. It's gonna work as they get down to 14. And just like that, Triggerfish Zones has a game-winning push about 2 minutes into this game.
Yeah, very calculated special usage there from Triggerfish Zone Supremacy. First that bubble, which I really expected to come out on first check, and then that splashdown to repop to get some extra points. That being said, 14 is very beatable on this map. Although Impulse is 3 down, it is an inconvenient place for Triggerfish Zone Supremacy to push.
Yeah, they are in a very inconvenient spot. But right now, Triggerfish Jones is just doing a good job of holding it. Looks like Zonic on this blaster is going to be able to get behind them. They are going to get called out here. Azuka trying to get the pigs. Not going to work. They do. Oh, actually, never mind. They do get him. And now, even though Impulse has it on that top left side, they're not able to get to it. It's just Triggerfish Zones is just being able to hold that side. They don't want it. They don't want them to try to sneak and grab it. They're just throwing bombs. Kraken does go down to a bomb. That's very unfortunate for them. And right now, Impulse has a chance to get something going. They cool it out at the ready. It looks like Splash here is going to try to paint up for a Crab maybe. Looks like Impulse is going to try to corner them and it's going to work. Triggerfish Zones goes one down. A Flame's going to work. Get one. Solid mid fighting this machine's not gonna work, and Kraken is just sitting here just waiting because they know Impulse has no other option but to go through them. It is gonna work. The edit being chased down. They are managing to get away. Kraken is forced to retreat here, but the machine goes down again for Triggerfish Zones, but unfortunately for Impulse, they aren't able to get the Rainmaker before it resets, and now they have to try to they don't have to work as hard, but they do have to break through Triggerfish Zones defense here.
Now, Triggerfish Zones is really trying to stall this out as long as possible because that's the name of the game on Humpback, baby. But it won't work forever. I mean, it might not work forever. Impulse is really, they're keeping up the pressure very well, even when they're going 2 down over and over. They're still keeping this push going because they know that this is exactly what can break Triggerfish Zone Supremacy's defenses.
Yeah, and I just want to say that splashdown had to be targeted. That jump had no chance, and unfortunately, Zonic is going to get revenge by getting that expo. Unfortunately, he's not going to go down to that bomb. But now with about 50 seconds left, Impulse they've been kind of locked in this situation here. They have mid, they're just not able to get onto Triggerfish Zones' plat. They're just stuck. Even though they do have this advantage here, they are pushed up, they do have specials. They just can't get any further. They try to use the Crab here to try to make something happen, and it's gonna work for a second. They do pick it up. The Crab trying to get Vapor. It's not gonna work. The Rainmaker goes down again, and now with about 20 seconds left, that's 3 down. Only the Rapid here, and that might be it if Triggerfish Zones can play their cards right. Try to stall out a little bit. Vapor is a little bit too early on that splashdown. Was not able to get any. However, without 5 seconds left, Impulse is going to try to go for a pop here. They're not able to get to it. Kraken goes down, but it's too late for Impulse. Triggerfish Zones takes game 2 in a very defensive manner.
Wow, Vapor was living through things. Like that Crab, really nice positioning on foam. I don't even remember what we call that. And then really nice splashdown. I was a little worried there for a second. I'm like, you're the anchor. You're up there, but they knew how to live. And then Kraken Mare distracting Impulse in mid. I think only 2 of them, but that's enough because they can't be looking at mid in this situation. Impulse, and I think that Brush is really nice on this map actually because of that. It was a really good distraction, I think, along with that machine.
Yeah, Kraken just played the role of an assassin for that entire game, just coming out of nowhere, just getting the picks that they needed. And here we see Vapor just YOLOing it, getting it down to 14, which ended up being the game-winning push. But yeah, like you said, it was just staying alive. That was the name of the game for all of Triggerfish Zones, honestly. Just staying alive, allowing Impulse to use those resources, use those specials, use the bombs that they had at their disposal to just like wear them down. And fortunately for them, the war of attrition worked out in their favor.
Yeah, definitely. We got Mahi Zones coming up next. Another good Explo map, but I mean, it's zones. I think Explo's pretty good on most zones. To what I'm thinking of at the top of my head. I think Impulse is gonna need to deal with that. I think they tried and did that last game with the Crab and the Inkjet to deal with Vapor, because otherwise I think it's gonna be really hard for them to hold space at all.
Yeah, I think the main thing they have to worry about is that snipe area. I think that's what it's called. They're right from the plat. believes that's called tonight, because Explo can just sit there all game and just slosh just shots from cover. So even if they do keep the Injet in the Crab, which I think will be a very good decision here, since it does target not just Expo, but just target like a large area really quickly. Just keeping those specials, their main goal for this game is to not let the Explo stay alive, basically. Do the opposite of what happened last game. Every time that we turned around, Vapor was doing some crazy maneuver to just stay alive by the skin of their teeth. But now for this one, Impulse has to make sure that they are able to confirm that, yes, Vapor is down. And then once their backliner goes down, it's a lot easier to deal with the rest of the team.
I don't know if they're going to keep Rapid on Impulse, though. I don't know why. I just have a hunch. No, I feel like I'm not seeing it a lot on Mahi zones, but
maybe I'm just crazy, but I run it, and it works like for 30% of the time. It works 100% of the time. So those are pretty good odds in my opinion.
30%.
Yes, 30%.
I mean, yeah, I think that Inkjet could be really good though.
Oh, a lot of buckets. I'm in favor of buckets. I love buckets, so I like that.
Okay, we got the squeeze coming back out on Impulse. That makes sense. They're gonna probably want to Zuka here. Zuka's gonna, of course. It's always really nice, but it's nice on Mahi. We've got a cooler finally coming out from Triggerfish Zones from DRF on Entry, which is interesting. That's coming out on Zones to me.
Yeah, I do understand why. In case like moments like this where they do go down, just having that cooler available is gonna allow them to just get into the fight much quicker. As we do see, Triggerfish Zones is still keeping it. They did lose it for a second, but they are gonna go down to 74. The edit does get one. Another one goes down. Vapor is staying alive here. Now with Impulse having a crab, they have to focus try to get the splash out of there. Vapor just doing what he likes to do, just send splashes everywhere. It is going to work for a little bit longer. The crab does come out. That's 1 for 1, 2 down on the side of Triggerfish Zones, but they're still keeping it. Unfortunately, the Junior goes down, leaving only the Explo. Now this is Impulse's first opportunity to really get a hold here.
Yeah, Impulse is using a lot of their resources, not necessarily to get rid of that Explo. They don't need to pick off Vapor as long as they can get Vapor to back away from the zone and put them in a really inconvenient position here. They have Cooler now, so they're going to have a pretty good hold. I think Zonic may be able to get that pick on Machine. And another pick coming out on Vapor, which is going to be really huge. They're not going to be able to paint from right side, but they do cap zone still.
Yeah, that's the painting power of Tri-Slosh here. He's very, very good at painting. We do see the Junior here is unable to stay alive here. The bubble is going to get shredded immediately. And now, Impulse can just fight through this penalty. They will take a lead here as they're only 1 point off. Crab is at the ready. The Explo goes down again. This is what Impulse need to do. They're just keeping Triggerfish Zones staggered. They're not allowing them to be 4 up, because as we've seen for most of this game, they've always been at least 1 down. As we see right there, DRF does go down to that crab there as a fall-off shot from the crab, so they'll be able to get another one. That's 1 for 1 here. The Zuka did come out from Boeing, able to get a pick here. However, Impulse's hold is just so strong that Triggerfish Zones have to do something here, as there's another Zuka getting to there. The Junior trying to his best to paint over zone is going to work. Get a neutralize for just a second. The splashdown is not going to work. Not going to be able to get that cheese off. The Junior's keeping it alive. They do manage to flip the zone for only a second, but that's a huge penalty to fight through. And the crab does come out 3 down inside of Triggerfish Zones, and like that, Impulse got the wipeout, putting Triggerfish Zones back in the same spot they were a few seconds earlier.
Yeah, really clutch save from Triggerfish Zones Supremacy there from the Junior. Impulse is going to have to keep up this lockout that they've been having. Is really nice because they don't have as much paint as Triggerfish Zones Supremacy, so this lockout is really, really important for them. Fortunately, they do have a lot of damage. They have the squeeze that can just hold mid really well, and they have that splash with burst bombs, and of course, Slosh is nice too. Triggerfish Zones, they keep capping it just to be safe, but from losing. But it's not quite enough. I'm not sure if they have the aggression yet. They might be able to play this patiently enough like they have in the past couple games where they weren't looking so hot and they came back, so... I don't know.
Looks like Triggerfish Jones is managing this is like their first semi-good hold in a long time. Boeing here just trying to find this edit, trying to get a pick. It's not gonna work. And here we are, Triggerfish Jones trying to do what Impulse did to them, to try to get a pick here. But I think what they really need to do here, they need to find at least 1 to 2 picks, because that's how you get that ball rolling. You need to stagger their opponents. As we do see the strikes do come out. Unfortunately, the juniors able to clean over them. Looks like Impulse trying to rush the zone is gonna work. The bucket does manage to get the pick here through the bubble. Saf gets another one. It's only Vapor left on this Expo, forced to escape. They're not choosing to. Instead, going for the kill. It is gonna work, but unfortunately, he doesn't get picked. Might get picked off here. Zonic not able to confirm the kill, and now we have 40 seconds left. Impulse about 30 ticks away from taking the game here. Vapor just trying to paint over zone with his team, trying to at least cause some distraction here. The splash out on zone is gonna start to stall. It's not quite. Oh, actually, never mind. It is gonna be enough, giving his team enough time to jump in and then take the zone back.
Ooh, yeah. I could see why they have Cooler now. I think it's really helping them on this because they're playing a little bit differently. They're not playing quite as defensively. They're not able to because they know that they have a more paint-heavy comp. That being said, they are down numbers. They do get a pick on Arbiter, which is really nice. That Ed is going to have a lot of paint. But they just can't win enough of these fights, I don't think. But maybe they can hold zone. It is still OT.
Oh.
They go 2 down on Trigger for Zone Supremacy. I think Saf might cap this on their own.
Yeah,
Woo!
it was just unfortunate for Triggerfish Zones. Impulse did a great job of just not letting the dam break. They kept off Triggerfish Zones. As you saw many times, Triggerfish Zones did manage to cap zone, but it was only for like 2, 3, 4 seconds. It wasn't that long. And Impulse just kept up the pressure on zone and just in general, and that allowed them to just take control and win the game. As this do see a quick replay of this last fight. As you can see here, Triggerfish Zones, they are able to get one though. However, during overtime, they just couldn't get the picks they needed. We do see Boeing go down, and I believe a little bit later on we will see Saf win inside a bubble. It just like you've been talking about, they just aren't able to win these crucial fights at the moments that they needed to.
Yeah, I think one of Triggerfish Zone Supremacy's problems were, I think that bubble could have been really good, but I don't think it ended up being used at the best times. And that's just situational. Like, they had to use bubble at certain points to keep them sort of in a safe position. But what bubble is often better for, I think, is holding an aggressive position, and I don't think they have very many opportunities to do that. That being said, we got Barnacle and Dime Clams next.
Now, before the change, I would call this one of the most vanilla map modes in the game. But after the change, it's pretty good. It's pretty varied. It's one of my favorites personally, because it's just really, I don't know how to describe it. It's just really fun to play. I do think the buckets will be very strong here. I think Squeezer is actually really good, especially in those alleyways. Is going to be able to just hold, especially with the wall. It just be able to sit there, do what they want. The edit is also really strong, in a really strong position here on that little snipe area. I think this is a good map for both teams' comps, really.
Yeah, that's true. I think Squeeze is also can be really hard to deal with on your plat. Like when you're defending, you have a Squeeze on your plat. It can be really annoying to deal with. Any long range weapon, you don't want them to get there. They can hold really good space. Although that being said, might be a lot of fights between Squeeze and Explo.
Let's see if that's going to happen, as we are going to jump into game number 4. We do see a 52 out from Triggerfish Zone Supremacy, and no changes, I believe, from Impulse, as they do seem very comfortable with their comp. They're not going to change for anything, as I think, yeah, like you talked about, the Squeezer matchup is going to be really hard for Impulse to deal with if they get set up first. It's like they are going to deal with that immediately, as we do see a much more aggressive setup or opening from Triggerfish Zones, as they are looking for fights, as they are going to get 2 down, but with Cooler at the ready for Impulse, it looks like that's not going to mean a lot right now.
That's true, but Impulse is going to have to take back their plat with that Cooler. We got see Azuka coming out from Triggerfish Zone Supremacy. They're still able to hold that plat. This Cooler isn't doing a lot so far.
Yeah, it's not doing a lot. We do see the 52 just popping off, getting 2, trying to fight this squeezer. It's not, we don't know how it's gonna go yet. They are gonna be able to get the pick, and now here we are. It looks like they do get to 48, which is a really, really good first push. They are gonna go a little bit further. The Smork on the junior is gonna be able to get a couple more clamps in. It's gonna go down to 30. The Expo on plat are by himself. However, Splashdown is at the ready. Just try to hold them off for a little bit longer, and unfortunately are forced to jump out. But that's a great opening. That's a good first push. I don't know if it's game winning, but that's just the tempo for this game.
Yeah, definitely. I think that that bubble positioning was really great. Bubble can really be annoying to deal with. You get a lot of free points off of that if you use it correctly. That squeeze is going down again. I think Triggerfish Zone Supremacy is really focusing them. They really don't want to deal with the squeeze in general if they can help it.
Yeah, especially they don't want to deal with Zuka, as everyone knows Zuka is really strong, as the Impulse does take 2 down off Triggerfish Zones. Right now, they are trying to get a little bit of pressure here. The bubble is going to stop that for right now. Unfortunately, Impulse's push is stopped back mid, but unfortunately, unlucky bomb is going to take down Saf here, as now Triggerfish Zones has a chance to do something. A crab does come out. They do manage to get 1. That's 2 down inside the Triggerfish Zones. However, that's looks like it's going to be 4 up for Impulse right here. We do see Salva trying to get a kill here. It's not quite going to work. And now here we are. Impulse is on the enemy snipe. However, they do have the clamp, so they do get 1 power, but they don't have any specials to really kind of force their way in, as they just have to fight the old-fashioned way.
Triggerfish Zone Supremacy is playing pretty patiently. They do go 2 down, but Impulse doesn't have a whole lot of claims to work with right now. I'm not sure if they could take lead, although they can still get a really nice push that'll help them out in the future. But I think Triggerfish Zones is aware of this. They're playing not too fast, especially they don't have a cooler, and Impulse's cooler is out, so they're trying not to feed. I mean, they only got to 74 because of that.
Yeah, and as a general rule of Clan Blitz is you want to get your first push under 60. Well, that only applies at the beginning of the game, since then it takes 2 clamps to take the lead here. But Triggerfish Zones are trying to play a little bit more aggressive. They do manage to take 2 of them out. It's a 3 down for Impulse. Only Sap on this Lucky left. They're already going to be singled out. They are going to go down. That's a delayed wipeout. And now here we are. Triggerfish Zone Supremacy is going to be able to paint up a little bit, get back on enemy snipe, get the clamp they need. They do have 10 at the ready. They do have their pity at the ready. They might be able to get a second power clamp here, as we do see they have to be a little bit more patient here because Impulse is prepared for them.
Yeah, they do have a crab at the ready, and they have a bubble from Smork, which I think Triggerfish Zones was waiting for. They might be waiting for this crab to be over and try to live it. And ooh, nice Zuka coming out to stop that crab a little prematurely in a whale. They want to keep up this pressure on Plat to try and push up and get that bubble in a really good position that they were able to on their last push.
Yeah, we're about a minute left in this game, and Impulse has not been able to recreate that situation that allowed them to push that first time. A majority of this game, it's been either neutral or Triggerfish Zones has had the advantage here, as we do see 2 down off of the wall from the 52 here. Solveless on the crab, hoping for a pick. They're not able to get it. Vapor manages to jump out, trying to get this kill on the junior. It's not gonna work. The junior here is just staying alive. It's gonna work for a little bit longer. Unfortunately, Impulse is gonna be able to push up a little bit further, trying to get a pick or 2. Strikes are at the ready. They're trying to get something going. They need a pick here. Azuka does come out with about 30 seconds left. They're trying to force their way in. They strike the bubble to get that down immediately. They do get the 52. About 50 Staff trying to win this fight. It's not going to work. They do get it, but unfortunately they have no powers here. Staff staying alive. They do manage to get the first power in. The crab comes out down to 60. They have a couple more claims in, but now they take the lead. 58. Staff has 1. Still fighting. They are going to go down. Here we are in overtime. Impulse has to try to force their clamps to go in. Unfortunately, with nobody left, it's just Sonic. They do get the wipeout. Unfortunately, they do find a couple more clams. That's 1 more. They have a couple more clams. They need about 4 more clams. Another kill. Sonic keeping their team alive. It's gonna work here.
Oh, they have the ball coming in.
Jump that power in.
Wow, Impulse played that so well. They played it so perfectly at the end. It's like they knew exactly what they needed to do. They needed to get that push starting as early as possible, but they didn't have a lot of clams to work with initially. They had about 11, I think. So they need to start that early and then make sort of like a slow and steady push. And that's exactly what they did. They were able to jump their pity in, I believe that was. Really nice 1v1 from Zonic right there. Really important. I think that's like game winning because they were about to... It was, yeah, because it was overtime and they were about to lose their push and then Zonic just shot before the wall could get down. Like, wow.
Yeah, it was just clutch. Unfortunately for Triggerfish, because they weren't able to get the edit before it jumped the power or threw the power in. But that's gotta be a heartbreaker for Triggerfish Zone. They had it. It was at the very last second that they lost the game. But unfortunately, they're gonna have to just move past that as we are gonna move on to Game 5. PC Chip Shape. And a very interesting one. I like it, but Sucks, what are your thoughts on it?
I feel like all of these are so good for Explo. Maybe I just didn't realize that is Explo good on everything? Just kidding. But
yes.
I feel like I feel like it's good here. It's very threatening, especially someone very experienced like Vapor on Explo. I guess it's good for both comps. I'm wondering if Triggerfish Zones is gonna run a cooler. Maybe that's boring of me to think about cooler. I think it's really interesting that they're going coolerless, but I feel like cooler could be really good on tower to keep up that pressure. They ran it on zones, probably for Mahi, I'm assuming. We'll have to see with this one. I wonder if they're gonna bring the Try out. Although I think Try might struggle a little bit on this map. Yeah, I don't know. You're the slosh person topic. What do you think about Try?
Yeah, I think okay. In the mid area, like when both bridges, kind of meet in the little mid area and the down below, yes, Try is good there. However, it's just it has a lot of problems just pushing forward since again it doesn't have that range like the regular slosher does, like Explo, like what's the third one? Machine does to just kind of abuse those height differentials. Try Slosher can't really do that. Looks like Kraken is gonna be back with the undercover, and we do see a custom range blaster. So trying to go for a lot of pressure on tower here from both sides.
Yeah, I think that makes sense that they switched off Squeeze for this one. Of course, because tower control, it's really nice to have a blaster. I think Kraken might be a little less useful here, but I mean, of course, we'll have to see what they can do with Kraken. Nice trade there. I guess it's nice for both teams. They're gonna go 2 down on Impulse.
Yeah, they are gonna go 2 down. I do see the cooler did get popped for Impulse. Unfortunately, no one else has gotten their drink. So a bit of a wasted cooler there, as it's in a really bad spot for Impulse to try to go and grab. As we do see Triggerfish Zones do get to this first checkpoint relatively uncontested. They have the entire team pushed up as far as possible. Kraken just setting up on this side. Just wait for them to contest them. They're deciding not to. As we do see a crab duck does come out from Impulse. It is gonna work to get them off tower. Unfortunately, T-Tech does go down here. Vapor and Kraken just trying to stall for as long as possible. It is gonna work. Since they did break through that first checkpoint so quickly, they're gonna try to see if they can build up the momentum. Unfortunately, Splash or Expo does go down. As we do see Impulse is just playing really solid defense here. They are not allowing anything to come through, but the unfortunate Zuka does take one. This is a chance for Triggerfish Zones to extend their lead even further.
Yeah, that was a really clutch defense from Impulse. They are going to probably respawn in time, but here's a Kraken coming out from them. I was going to say they're trying to reclaim their court, but here they are on top right. It's just Kraken Mare left on Triggerfish Zone Supremacy, so I think that push is probably over, but Impulse hasn't gotten a push of their own at all, and yeah, here's Kraken Mare being annoying to Impulse as much as possible. stalling out for time. They have a crab coming out. It might be a little tiny bit early, but they are going to want to take Triggerfish Zone Supremacy's core as quickly as possible.
Yeah, they want to focus on this left side first, since that is where the tower goes. As they are gonna focus it, as they do see a strikes do come out, and that's like again uncontested first checkpoint. That's been a theme of this game right now. Both teams have been able to just push up far enough to where the checkpoint gets is just really easy to get, as we do see another 3 down for Triggerfish Zones. Here it is, Impulse is parting the Red Sea, allowing the tower to just slowly make its way across. The unfortunately the Zuka for Triggerfish Zones is gonna go down. That's gonna be lead. Kraken just shoots at tower. It's gonna work with the regenerating shield. Unfortunately, goes a bit too far. Soft is trying to stay on tower. It's not gonna work. The Reef Slider pushes them off. Jumpers are coming in. Soft is sitting here. Kraken just bumping them off tower. It is gonna work for now. The Expo and they're still alive. I don't understand how. Looks like they're gonna keep this push going. It is gonna work. That's another 2 down for Triggerfish Zone Supremacy. Kraken is here. Everybody is here trying to end this little contested area. The splashdown comes out. Now they're gonna pick the strikes, trying to confirm the win. And there it is. The dam has finally broken, and Impulse will win Game 5. Jesus.
Wow. Amazing aggression from Impulse. Compared to, no offense, Triggerfish Zone Supremacy, but you can see the difference in their pushes. I mean, when Kraken Bear got on top left, I was thinking, oh, that's going to be like really threatening, but then Impulse was really smart about that. Like, no, we're just going to ignore this Brella. I mean, like, what are they going to do? We need to look at tower. That was really smart of them. They had a really nice defense. And then their offense was really nice. They had 2 people on top left being really threatening up there. And then I believe the Blaster was on top right with that really nice Kraken, and then of course Sovlis just living through. Normally I have the philosophy of just stay on the tower until you die, but it's a good thing that they didn't do that, because they lived through it and then they were able to wait for those strikes to come in and confirm that win.
Yeah, it was just they just allowed their team to stay or get in the game, or not get in the game, to get back to tower. As you saw, I believe they were the only one left after the end of that, like, not first push, but at the end of that, like, first try to get to the checkpoint. They were the last one. Just staying alive allowed their team to jump in, and that gave them the resources to finally break through and get through and get that win.
Yeah, I really feel like Impulse, from the first 2 losses that they took from Triggerfish Zone Supremacy, they're learning their tricks, you know? Like, they're adapting really well. They're like, okay, we need to deal with this Explo somehow, or get them to back off, not have a presence, and we need to, like, if Kraken Mare's in the game, which I think they were in all of them, just ignore them. It seems like they've done a really good job at adapting to that. And I think Triggerfish Zone Supremacy needs to adapt back.
But continue that as we move on to our Game 6, Rainmaker Museum.
I wonder if Impulse is gonna run CRB or Squeeze. I think CRB would probably be nicer, but I don't know if it makes like a huge difference. They're both mid lines. They're both pretty meta, midline meta. Gotta love it.
I could see either one. Like, they're both good on this map, but for different reasons. Range Blaster, since you can attack. Well, I guess you could attack both of Plat with both of them, but Squeezer is a lot more direct, as in it sends straight shots. You're able to just, if you're able to get a pick or two, it's able to work. Or if you're able to get a shot or two off, it's able to do that. But with Range Blaster, it's much more. If your team is up there, if your team is on Plat first, just being there, sending a splat bomb their way, sending a shot their way, just might be the help that they need to confirm a kill.
Yeah, definitely. I don't know how Triggerfish Zone Supremacy should react to Impulse's gameplay. I feel like they should try and maybe focus on better aggression, but that's easier said than done. We're gonna have
a screen.
Okay. Interesting. Not in a bad way. We haven't seen it yet, so I do really think that's interesting. 52 from Triggerfish Zone Supremacy. That makes sense. Oh, they're gonna go down right away. We got a flank coming from Zaf on the slosh. That's gonna be really annoying for Triggerfish Zone Supremacy to deal with. And Impulse is gonna get a nice push off that. They might get this check.
Oh, that's another one. As we do see Zonic popping off a little bit, gets 2. That's 3 down again. That's a wipeout. Impulse is playing fast and furious right now. As Arbiter is going to try to pop this Rainmaker with his team, and it's going to work. A cooler is going to be ready very quickly. And there we go. We do see why they chose green, as it's very disorienting. Just kind of forcing Triggerfish Zones into one direction if they don't want to take that damage. We do see Vapor going for the kill. It is going to work. And that might be able to force them back. Unfortunately, both teams have one down. Sonic goes down to the pop, and that might be it for Impulse's push. As there's 2 on plat still, they're not gonna be able to do much more, and that's gonna be it. The damage has been done. Now it's time for Triggerfish Zones to respond here.
That was a really, really nice opening from Impulse, but they took a little too long, I think, to pick up that Rainmaker again after the check. I mean, I feel like they could have gotten a lot further than 53. I think maybe someone wanted to save their special or something. I'm not really sure what happened, but Triggerfish Zone Supremacy, they recognize that, and they just use that splash to stop it. They're going to be 3 down on Impulse, and we got a lot of specials coming out from Triggerfish Zone Supremacy. Hopefully they can get they can get a good push off of this, because that way, I mean, they don't have any more specials to work with, because they used them all just to get mid. They didn't quite get check, and we got strikes coming out from Impulse. I think it might stop Triggerfish Zone Supremacy's push for just a second here.
Yeah, it looks like they're going to be stopped for a second. Sonic does go down. Vapor trying to get a pick here. It's not able to work. They're going to pick it up and just dunk it. Even though they do go down, that is going to make their future pushes a lot easier, not having to wait for the checkpoint or not having to wait for the Rainmaker to get a shield back. And we do see Impulse popping the cooler a little bit early. But looks like they're going to try to take advantage of that sap. Trying to get a pick here. It's not quite going to work as they do manage to jump out. As they explode, just sending sloshes. It's going to work. They do manage to get the Rainmaker pop or Rainmaker killed. Saf goes down. That's a 1-for-1 trade on both sides. And here we are, Triggerfish Zones trying to push up. But every time they try, Impulse has been able to match them. As we see Boeing here on this flank with the Zuka at the ready. Instead, it lets to jump out. Saf staying alive, just barely avoiding that splat bomb here. We do see they're trying to get onto their plat, which is very, very huge for them. A screen did come out from Zonic here. And right now, it's in a very neutral state, but Triggerfish Zone, they have to play more aggressive. They have to get those picks, because right now, the way that they're playing, they're not allowing Impulse to push, yes, but they're not forcing the game into their direction either.
Yeah, I think Triggerfish Zone Supremacy, I think that might be designed because they don't have a cooler to work with, of course. I've been saying this a million times, but they can't quite afford to force something until Impulse is 2 or 3 down even. But it is really neutral. I mean, both teams are kind of using specials, I don't want to say willy-nilly, but it sort of feels like that. For Impulse, of course, they can afford to do that a lot better because they have lead, like you said, although their lead isn't very strong. If I were them, I would want to push again because 53 is very beatable on this map.
Yeah, it is very beatable, but right now it looks like they're trying to add on to it. The crab does come out, trying to find a pick on Smorg. It is gonna work. That's another 2 down for Triggerfish Zones. Impulse has to try to get a little bit further with their push here. They have about 90 seconds, or a little less than 90 seconds left. The Zuka does come out from the side of Triggerfish Zones. They aren't able to get a pick here. That's 2 down again on Impulse. They are, I will say, Impulse is playing a lot more aggressive. It's just Triggerfish Zone's defense is just be able to match them so well. Zonic is staying alive somehow. That's another 1 down on Triggerfish Zone. About 45 seconds left. They're just forcing. Okay, they are forcing Impulse onto back to mid. They just aren't able to get to mid themselves, if that makes sense.
Yeah, definitely. And that was a little bit of a risky play to pick up Rainmaker from Vapor because, I mean, it is going to reset now, I'm pretty sure, but it could have been really bad there. It is going to reset now. They have a couple specials to work with. I don't know where they're going to be able to put this bubble for it to be that effective, though. And they're probably going to try and splash down in mid, if I were to guess. Oh, the Junior goes down. I think without the bubble coming out, I'm not really sure. They're going to go 2 down on Triggerfish Zone Supremacy. That splash down coming out of desperation. They are grasping at straws just to get into mid, but Impulse just keep getting picks and picks.
Yeah, unfortunately, throwing everything at the kitchen sink didn't quite work for Triggerfish Zones, as Impulse will take game number 6 after a very dominant defensive performance from them. They just, well, yes, they did bleed first. Triggerfish Zones did get checkpoint. They just didn't allow them to push any further. They got the checkpoint, and that's it. It was just really solid defense from honestly both teams. It's just that Triggerfish Zones just couldn't muster the offense that they needed to break through Impulse's defensive performance.
Yeah, I feel like that's such a low scoring game for this map. So it was really impressive defense from both sides. I mean, I was worried about Impulse, but they couldn't get that push early on to a higher number, or I guess a lower number left. But I mean, they made it work. Like they were like, okay, whatever, we can't push anymore. Their defense is too good. Okay, we'll just do the same thing. We'll make sure they can't even get into mid. And they made that work.
Yeah. Well, here we are, game number 7. Triggerfish Zone Supremacy on the brink of of losing this set here, as we go to, in my opinion, one of the most vanilla ice cream maps in the game, or map modes in the game, since it's everywhere. You can't lie, it's everywhere because it's just it's so neutral. That's the best way I can describe it.
That's true. I wonder if they'll bring DRF back on Triggerfish Zone Supremacy. I don't know if they have any other people that play a cooler weapon. I'm not really sure. But I think this could be a good place for Try if you can get it in the right position on your pushes. It might be a little hard when you're pushing back into zone with Try to have a lot of opportunities. But I mean, I trust DRF. He's a Try. I don't want to say one trick, I don't want to assume, but I know that's like his thing. I think this might be a good place to bring him back in. It might be nice to have a cooler. They did run it last time on zones, and it might be a good place to bring Try back.
Yeah, I could see it since, like you said, they did bring it back for the last zones map, and it did, even though they did lose that game, it did kind of help with their offense. I do think that they are gonna need to change something up here, since, like we've been talking about for a lot of these games, they haven't been able to push. They've been very good on defense. Minus a couple, I think that minus the Larnical game where they lost because Sonic popped off, to be completely honest. But they've been playing really good defense. It's just they haven't been able to translate their momentum from defense to offense, and that's really what's killing them here.
Yeah, absolutely. I wonder if they're going to keep that Junior maybe for a similar, or sort of for that reason. I think Bubble can be really good for offense, but it's just Junior doesn't get a lot of damage out, you know? So I'm wondering if they're going to keep that, because I think the problem with their aggression is the main weapons, actually.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I could see that, because Bubble by itself, or not by itself, Bubble, if you get it far enough in front of zone, is very good. It just kind of says, hey, you cannot be here. If you try to shoot over here, it's not gonna work. But like you said, with their Junior not being a very fighting weapon, it's very, very hard to get anything going, since you are, I'm not saying you're down a person, but when it comes to a firefight, the Junior's not really gonna be the one that's gonna be able to assist you. It's just, I feel like Triggerfish Zones, they're gonna need a few changes. Maybe something a little bit more aggressive, not more aggressive, something more, how do I say, something that outfights a little bit better. I think that'd be like the ideal situation for them.
Yeah, I'm inclined to agree. I think they're having a rough time with aggression, and they need to change something now, or they lose the whole set.
Yeah, and I just want to talk about Impulse for a second. They went down 0-2, and they struck back super hard. Winning the last 4 is really impressive, as we do see Triggerfish Zone sticking with that cooler, going back to the brush, and we do see the best weapon in the game, the pencil, coming out from Impulse, and a 96 deco. A very interesting weapon. It does paint a lot. That Kraken is very nice for getting those picks here. trying to force a fight here, as we do see Triggerfish Zones is able to get zone first. However, they are going to go one down from Impulse here. That's another one. That's 3 down. Boeing does get one, but it's forced out, and even though Triggerfish Zones got the zone first, they just lost that ensuing fight really hard.
Yeah, that was really fast for them, especially because the Junior and the Splash went down right away, and those are going to be their painters on Triggerfish Zone Supremacy. They have 3 specials already. Hopefully for them, they can make something out of this. We got the Whale coming out, and the Machine's trying to push with that, I think. We got a Kraken coming out from Zonic, trying to stop this push. Oh, whoa! They missed that. Oh my gosh, that's the movement from a couple people on Triggerfish Zone Supremacy, but then the 96 just cleans it up anyway. They're going 2 down on Triggerfish Zone Supremacy. Who needs Kraken when you have a 2-shot? Like, come on.
Yeah, it's debatable if Kraken is really necessary in 96, but here we go. Impulse is gonna try to hold. The cooler, it does come out. They do have strikes at the ready to try to counter anything Triggerfish Zones tries to do. They are gonna be able to break through their penalty here. Strikes from Triggerfish Zones are gonna come out. Kraken is coming out here from Zonic, trying to get a pick here. Unfortunately, oh no, never mind. They are able to find the pick on the Zuka. That's another one down. That's 2 down on the side of Triggerfish Zones. They're forced on this left side here. Kraken somehow staying alive and able to get the kill, but unfortunately, Impulse is going to be down to 25 on their score. Down to 20 here. They're already going to pick. The Zuka does come out, barely misses that pencil. They do get the assist for it though. In a 2-for-2 fight, it is going to be in Triggerfish Zones' favor, and they are able to get zone. They're able to get through the penalty here, as right now they have to hold. They haven't been able to hold for very long, as we see right here. They're going to try to do that right now.
Yeah, again, they don't have a cooler again, which I sort of wasn't really expecting, so they're not able to push up super far, especially because Impulse is going to have their own cooler. They have strikes coming out. I think they're not quite able to keep paint on Triggerfish Zone's privacy size. They got 3 down on Impulse, though, and they're going to try and push this pencil and prevent them from playing the game, although I don't know where they are. They're probably in a really safe spot because I think they know better. A really nice hold from Triggerfish Zone Supremacy. They're finally getting this lockout that this is what they needed on Mahi. They needed to get up this far, although they are going to go 3 down. Kraken's last, and it is a wipeout, but that is going to be a nice hold for a while for Triggerfish Zone Supremacy. There is 2 minutes left, and Impulse has quite the penalty right now.
Yeah, that's the skeleton of what they wanted to do. They wanted to get up super far, but unfortunately it did go down. Zonic here, another Kraken is gonna come out, trying to get a pick here. Looking on this pedestal, on the top side, it's not gonna work. They are forced to drop down, barely avoids the bomb, grabs the cooler. Here we go. They're trying to push up with about 30 ticks left before they win this game. Solid was staying alive here. 96 does go down here for the side of Impulse. The whales come out, I should say, for Triggerfish Zones, but they are forced to fight here. 4 ticks left at the last second. A little bit of heroics is going to work in their favor, getting a pretty meaty penalty on Impulse down to 50, and here they are again, really pushed up. They need to win their fights. That's how they keep their hold here. That's how they're able to survive for another game. A Crab coming out, try to get a pick here. There's really close. That's a 1-for-1 trade. Smork in zone, 2-for-2, down to 36. It's just a splash left. The Smork is the last one. They're giving jumps into their teammates. A minute left. Down to 15 ticks. This may be it. Down to 10. Last 10 seconds. Here we go. Staff not able to get the pick. Boeing staying alive. The Crab's not able to get it. And oh my god, there we go again. Just like what happened from the Barnacle game, Triggerfish Zones just snatches victory from Impulse at the last second. I'm speechless.
I know, me too. Like, I'm just like watching with my mouth agape. I really, oh my god, I don't know exactly what that double was that Triggerfish Zone Supremacy. I don't know who got it. It might have been Boeing,
like
and then they went 3 down. I mean, that's just huge. And then a really nice shark from Boeing under that tent. That's really, really an important place to hold. I mean, Impulse just didn't have the time left. They had to run, like, just literally feed into zone, which is, I mean, what they did. But Boeing had that really nice position and just prevented Impulse from doing anything about it. Wow, they cleaned that up.
I'm still speechless. Like, it was. I thought Impulse were gonna be just really clean win there, but it was just wow. They I don't know. Triggerfish Zones kind of held on for dear life, and it worked in their favor.
Yeah, the mental bear is really good too. I think on Haggle zones, I think that's especially terrifying, especially when you're about to lose a whole set if you don't win the game. And that was looking really bad for Triggerfish Zones Supremacy for a really long time. So props to them for coming back. I'm like having flashbacks watching it, especially with Bubble, because I had a teammate with Bubble. I remember some clutch bubbles on zone and on that map. So wow, really nice job, Triggerfish Zone Supremacy. Y'all gotta win 2 more games still.
Yeah, they're not out of the woods just yet, as we are moving on to our 8th game, Clam Blitz Inkfall. Let's see if anything changes. We do see a Neo Splash, of a weapon that has been rising up a little bit. It's very good, very defensive oriented weapon, just like in Splatoon 2. But as we do see again, never mind. Correction, we do see a CRB from Impulse here, going a bit more with that aggression here, with that Kraken, or with the blaster. As we do see one goes down almost immediately for Impulse. Kraken here on this brush, trying to be a distraction, trying to be behind the enemy. It's gonna work. The jumper does get a pick. That's a 2-for-2 trade, and here we go. We're back in a neutral situation at this point. Triggerfish Zones are gonna be able to hold just a little bit here.
Yeah, Triggerfish Zones is doing a really good job of contesting mid, which is, I mean, of course they're gonna have to do a little more of that to get a push, but this is what they need to do if they don't have a cooler. They have to play a little bit differently from Impulse. They do want to be aggressive, but in sort of in a different way. The Junior is going to go down on Triggerfish Zone Supremacy, but Krakenmir just being so sneaky with the brush and getting some picks that is stopping Impulse from taking space that they really need to actually get a push going.
Yeah, the name of the game is space right now. As Kraken is not able to get a pick there. They do get a trade, however. Yeah, like you said, the name of the game is space, and right now Impulse has, while they are able to paint a lot really quickly, they aren't able to go and take that space. As another one goes down, it's just Triggerfish Zones is everywhere. Solveless doesn't manage to get a pick on the brush. Trying to stay alive, it's not going to work, as a Splash is able to get one. As we are about a minute and a half into this game, and still no one has scored. It's not stally. It's just very neutral game right now, as Sonic trying to force their way in with the Kraken, forced to back out in case they get splatted here. That's another one down, and here we are. Impulse is on their plat. Unfortunately, they're going to try to force their way through. Strikes do come out. They have enough space for it. They are able to break the barrier here. Strikes though from Triggerfish Zones is going to be able to stall them, and that might be the end of the push. Sonic does get one, but goes down, and that is going to be it. Only getting the power clam on their first push isn't going to be that damaging to Triggerfish Zones, since they do, of course, get a pity claim in return.
Yeah, this is reminding me of that Clams Barnacle game. I mean, this very similar thing happened with Impulse, where they had a good push going, but they didn't score a lot of clams. I mean, 80 is obviously the bare minimum. They are being really patient. I think this map kind of forces you to do that, and I think they're aware of that. Even when Triggerfish Zones is down a person, I mean, now they're 3 down. They're probably going to make a push with this, but they're not feeding into this machine. They're being really patient. They're able to score again.
Yeah, they're going to have to be a little bit patient here, as strikes are going to come out. Staff staying alive here. That's one down on the side of, or one down on both sides. Kraken goes down again. The bubble is at the ready. That's 2 down again. Unfortunately, they're barely not able to get through to get more clams in. And Impulse has been making very small pushes. They're trying to get a larger sustained push. It's just right now they aren't able to. They don't have the clams. They don't have the specials available to them to get a long sustained push, as they are going to only be down to 64. But luckily for them, Trigger Zones has yet to get a power clam in.
Yeah, I'm kind of surprised with Trigger for Zone Supremacy. I mean, they're running Brush again. I would think a flank might be really... Ooh, that's a really good Kraken on their snipe. I mean, I think they got one, like, effectively two, and they're already at 25 on Impulse. This is not looking good, although they do manage to get just the edit left on Impulse, but 25, I mean, they haven't even pushed yet, and there's only a minute left in the game. They're going to have to make quick work of this, which I believe they can do. They've done it before. But hopefully the nerves aren't getting to them too much here.
Yeah, Trigger Fish Zones need some late game heroics here. About 45 seconds left. They have yet to score. They're trying to get in position to, but unfortunately, Saf on this bucket able to get one, staying alive here, trying to get another one, and the close one is able to get it. That's two down again. Impulse has not been able to get these picks when they really need them to. That they do manage to get one there. Now they have two power clamps at the ready. Kraken is trying to juggle them. Unfortunately, they are going to be forced back by this edit and blaster. It is going to be they are going to go down. That's another Kraken out for Zonic here, trying to put on some pressure. It is going to work. Giving their team some space. Nice there, getting the pick there. About 5 seconds left. Impulse or Trigger for Zones, they don't have a power. They need it in the next 3, 2, 1. They don't have it, and that will be it. It looks like they don't have the magic left, and Impulse will take the set 5-3.
Wow, I feel like they punished Krakenmare so much. It seemed like they just couldn't do anything, which is not good, because you want your brush to not get shut down. You want your brush to be a distraction. I mean, they were able to do that at the beginning for a while when it was sort of in a neutral state, but they just... Impulse, like, again, I think they learned their lesson from the way Krakenmare was playing earlier, the games that they lost. They... very smart about this.
Yeah, they were able to just focusing Krakenmare, just making sure that they're not able to play their game, not making sure they keep eyes on the brush, they keep tabs on the brush. And also, I think we forgot to point out during that game is that they had like very little range. The longest range weapon on their team was the machine. So having the edit, having the blaster there to just kind of box them out was enough to win this game, or win the set actually.
Yeah, that's a good point. I can't believe I didn't notice either, because it is really nice to keep control of the stacks if you have range. So it's kind of interesting that Triggerfish Zone's Supremacy didn't have a lot of range. I mean, Boeing was wreaking a lot of havoc, though. Winning a lot of slasher 1v1s, I think, that we saw. But man, they weren't able to capitalize off of it, unfortunately.
Yeah, and with that, if you look at the standings for season 15 Div 3, that's Triggerfish Zones' first set loss, so they will fall to 3-1. Impulse are gonna go up to 2-2, so they still have a very slight chance if the cards fall in their direction to make playoffs. Triggerfish Zones are gonna have to bounce back from this. I think they will. I think they have a great opportunity to make playoffs here, and just see what they can do.
Yeah, that's true. That about Impulse, they were like, we gotta win the set, man. And they definitely wouldn't have gotten, or they couldn't have gotten playoffs if they lost this. So they came in clutch for sure.
Yeah, and with that said, we're gonna take a very small break. However, stay tuned because we have another set, I believe. Yeah, we have another set coming up. Zyphus versus Riptide in the next, couple minutes. So stay tuned for that.
Yeah, see y'all later, about 20 minutes. Hello, y'all. Welcome back to Ludi Tonight. Today, or right now, we've got a Div 7 match. We've got Ziphius versus Riptide. Apparently, Ziphius means swordfish, which I didn't know that. I just looked it up. So we got these Div 7 teams. We got the same commentators. I'm Tux, in case y'all didn't see me last set, and got my co-host Topic here too.
Yeah, you know, swordfish, very appropriate for a Splatoon. That's all I'm gonna say.
Yeah, it sounds so metal. Like I was really surprised to find out it meant swordfish. I just googled it really quick because I'm like, this seems like a real word. Kind of crazy.
Yeah. And I think I'm excited to see this set because we get to see the differences between like Div 3 and Div 7. And while that might sound kind of strange, but it's just a lot of I think the main differences between like lower div and higher div is the game planning, since a lot of competition comes down to the mental game. It comes down to how well you prepare. Yes, mechanics are a part of it. Not to say it's not a part of it. It's just how teams have their strategies flesh out, how they're able to like prepare, how they're able to like counter their enemy, how they're able to like react to pressure building. I think that'd be very interesting to see here.
Yeah, that's definitely a very different. The big difference in Div 4 Div skill gap, or like div gap, I guess I should say. And there's sort of a different meta a little bit as well, in between what we would call maybe mid-level compared to like low-level, like FGIU level teams. So that was going to be interesting too. We might see some different weapons. We did see some unusual weapons even for Div 3 last set, but still, I think it might vary a little bit more.
Yeah, I think what really happens, especially like lower div, lower div like tournaments, is teams like to experiment a lot more because since you could basically not do anything, but you have a lot more freedom since you're not because not everyone's gonna follow the meta, not strictly, but to like a point. So what I mean is you'll see a lot more experimental comps, a lot more just like weird stuff, a lot just like you said, variety. Since it's the best way to describe it's like the wild wild west out there. So it's like anything goes. If you get the win, who cares?
Yeah, I think it's definitely true. I think people are experimenting a little more at low level, which is always fun to see. I think different skill levels are fun to watch and commentate for different reasons, so looking forward to that. I don't know a whole lot about either of these teams, I'm going to admit. I think Riptide has a wiper, because if it's the same obscure that I know about, I think they play wiper, but besides that, I'm not super familiar with these teams, unfortunately. So I don't know. It's exciting to see what we're gonna get. I did have that privilege with the last set, I guess you could say. I knew what to expect personally.
Yeah, I think that's kind of the mystery of lower level teams, is that you don't know what to expect. These players haven't been like established for a while, so anything can happen. As we see right there, we do see the new Wellstringer and we see a Wellstringer and a Roller on the same comp, and on the other side we see a Sploosh. Very like you've been talking, very different. Not weapons you see all the time, but they feel confident, think they're going to make it work, as one already goes down on the side of Riptide, as Zyphus here does have a bit of advantage. The Roller goes down in a 1-for-1 trade. Zyphus is electing to get on tower as early as possible. The Machine does manage to get one. That's a 1-for-1 trade again. Another one down for Riptide, and right now Zyphus has a really good hold here. They're able to, at least at the moment, stagger their opponents, make sure they're a little bit off balance, as the Roller trying to get a pick here, wasting the Zuka as it is. They are going to force it to look at their direction. That's another 2 down for Riptide. Zyphus has a very, very strong opening here.
Yeah, they were really patient there with getting on tower. I think they were quite confident enough for whatever reason. Maybe there was something going on that right side for Xiphias. It seems like things are going really well for them. There's kind of a stagger going on for Riptide. They're gonna have to chill out a little bit more, or they can just run in and get 2. Oh my gosh, that'll really do it. I'm not sure if Xiphias is getting much more of a push. And then, as I say that, they have a Roller with bubble and they managed to get 2 down on Riptide. But someone needs to get on tower.
Yeah, you say that again. I feel like there hasn't been, Xiphias has not been able to take advantage of their pushes or of their opportunities, since not no one's been on tower, but people have been getting on tower so late that by the time they get on tower, there's not a lot more that they could do. Like right here, they elect to back up, which is the right decision, to just allow Riptide to kind of waste their specials, as they do manage to get to the first checkpoint, not quite able to get started. They are able to get started on it, not able to break it, as Jose on the Roller doesn't get 2, unfortunately, does go down there, as Firewave gets on tower trying to stall, elects to go for a kill, does get 1, does get 2, looking for the triple, not quite, but the jumper will suffice for him. Gets the triple kill, down to 73 with the push. That's another one with the Zuka, looking for another pick. It's not going to work, and here we go. Riptide is breaking this game wide open as they take the lead with their first push.
Yeah, Xiphias is going to have to be really careful here. They don't really have a cooler, so they can't feed a whole lot. I mean, that Roller might just go in and feed because it works pretty well for Roller. That being said, Xiphias is able to get 2 down really cleanly. I think they're going to stop this push soon. Okay, please let me rewrite. Okay, cool. They stopped this push. They're 3 down on Riptide, so hopefully they got 2 on tower. I think they need to take up a tiny bit more space. But is there a flank? Because they're looking at right side. I'm not really sure what's going on over there, but they are able to take up that space pretty quickly. There's a lot of paint on the side of Riptide. There's a lot of orange paint on their side of the map, which is not good for them. Unfortunately, they kind of just go in, and Xiphius they're not quite confident enough to ride tower yet, and Riptide is going to capitalize off of that and get them 3 down.
Yeah, confidence is king. Even though you may not be able to win, you might be able to not win a fight, just having the confidence to be like, hey, I will go in here, I will do everything I can, I will try my damnedest to get a pick. That is going to be very, very useful. As we do see this T-Tech here trying to stay alive, they do stay alive here. Shiro on this edit does unfortunately go down. That's another 3 down for Riptide, as Xiphius has the advantage here. The bucket trying to get a pick here, quite gonna work out.
Yeah, Xiphius finally, they have a bubble on tower, which is really nice, and Jose on the rollers able to push up really far. That's gonna be really bad for Riptide if they can't get this roller out. Either that or they need to ignore it. They need to pick one or the other. Unfortunately, they're not able to ignore it, and they are 3 down, and the lead is gonna come out for Xiphius. And if they clear this check, it might not look good for Riptide. In fact, it's not looking good for them right now.
Yeah, 10, 9, 1. I got time to count down as they are able to just break through. And Xiphius, it took a little longer than we expected, but they are able to get the game 1 win.
Yeah, I think it's really interesting to see another team not running cooler, especially on tower control, and they played around that well. Xiphius did. Because like you said, it took them a while, but they finally built up that momentum, and that's how you play cooler lists. You have to sort of push slowly and be a little bit more cautious and let the other team that probably has cooler, which in this case they do, sort of feed into you and take advantage of the way they're going to play differently than you will.
Yeah, and I just want to talk about Riptide. They had a really nice opportunity when they were pushing, but unfortunately they just didn't have the special they needed. They just didn't have that force to break through, to get through that last checkpoint, to try to break through the lead. As you saw, they were at 25. They were a few points away from just breaking through the checkpoint and being in a home stretch, but unfortunately they weren't able to do it, as Xiphius will try to carry this momentum into our second game. Rainmaker Humpback, which I expect the roller to stay on this one.
Yeah, I was thinking that as well. Roller's going to be really nice here for Xiphius. Riptide has to play a lot more cautiously, otherwise the same thing might happen again. I mean, it's Rainmaker Humpback. It's really volatile. You have to be really careful on this one, especially because I think both of these teams are pretty aggressive in their own ways. It's not quite like the last set we watched.
Yeah, and I just want to say, I think what Riptide really needs to focus on is just keeping the paint up. Because as you saw, a little bit after they lost paint control, guess what happened? The roller did roller. They just went up to that little gray area, got a kill, were able to shark around for as long as possible, wait for their team to back them up. It's just, without the paint necessary, the snowballs become so much easier, and especially on Rainmaker, the snowball mode, we might expect the same. We might expect a little more caution out of Riptide.
Yeah, definitely. Hopefully for them, they have learned their lesson. Ooh, we're gonna see a forge and a try. I'm pretty sure that was a try. Okay.
And what's that? Luna Blaster. Okay, very, like we've been saying this entire time, very experimental, very different comps. It's not weapons we would see a lot, especially in mid-high level. We barely see any Forge Pros, as it's kind of been outclassed by a Squeezer in a way, since if they basically serve the same role here, as we do see Xiphius taking the initiative, just taking the Rainmaker first. They do pop a cooler here, try to take a little bit of space. Forge gets one. Forge does not able to get the second one, and instead Xiphius just takes it by. It looks like the Slosher takes it by himself and just runs forward, and they are able to get to the first checkpoint really quickly.
Yeah, they took really good advantage of that running with the Rainmaker because a lot of Riptide was stuck on the left side there fighting a couple other people on Ziphius. So it was a really, really smart decision to just take that Rainmaker and run with it, getting that really quick first check. They are going to opt to pick it up, but unfortunately for them, that Zuka is just going to pop a nope, you're not pushing anymore.
Yeah, the very, very fair and balanced Zuka is going to be able to get that pick. But now, thanks to Wellstring, FBC is very, very oppressive, especially if it has that mid control, it has that little height advantage. You have to be really cautious around Wellstring, since, like you see right here, it just paints so much. It enables the team so much. As you do see Koi here on the Spoosh just trying to stay alive, managed to get a pick on that Tri-Slosh, trying to alleviate themselves of pressure just a little bit longer. But instead, it looks like the Forge is staying in mid, able to stay alive. Really, really big here. They just need the men. They need the forces here to try to break through.
Wow, Ziphius is doing a really good job of like taking every opportunity they can to push up. But Riptide's also doing a good job at defending. I was really worried for them for a second there with that Booyah coming out from Ziphius and everything. But they managed to stop it at 53 points, and they're going to get this pop. It's not going to get anyone, but it is going to get that little bit of paint they need. They're going to opt to pick up. They're fortunately going to make it down into Trench, because if they didn't, that'd be really bad. A try's going to pick them off. And they're going to go 2 down on Riptide. It isn't an inconvenient place for Ziphius, but how they've been playing so far, they might be able to pick it up and run for it again.
Yeah, this is reminding me of our last set, Triggerfish zones. They're really good at defense. Unfortunately, they're not able to translate that into offense. And now Ziphius is just closing their space, giving them less and less to work with. As the Tri-Slosher is able to get a pick here, smoking on this Forge, is doing what they do, staying alive, gets a double with a suction bomb. Very unfortunate for Riptide. That gives Ziphius so much space to work with, as the Rainmaker just goes all the way to 24. And with how well Ziphius has not allowed Riptide to enter mid or enter their side, that might be a game-winning push.
Yeah, that's really true. I mean, Riptide has to make the most of this. They managed to get Ziphius 3 down, I believe. They gotta go right now. I mean, they do have that try down again, which is really nice. Oh, but the save from that Forge, that was clutch. Wow, they just lasered them. And that's gonna be a problem for Riptide. I mean, they managed to get a couple more picks, but now it's kind of in a weird spot. They didn't manage to get it down there. It might be a little hard for them to get the check with the tri-flank and everything. They managed to get one. Although Riptide does manage to get this check, it's going to be a 2v2 situation. And they can't quite get lead, I don't think, off of this unless some miracle happens, but they might be able to keep this going if they play the cards right.
Yeah, but unfortunately, Ziphius is throwing everything in the kitchen sink at them. And they already had the Rainmaker reset here. And as you saw, Ziphius just kept that corner painted. They had the Wellstring, they had the Foster, they had those Fizzies. They just did not allow Riptide to pick up the Rainmaker. And now with about a minute left, Ziphius, they're going to try to get a little bit more here. They are going to try to get a little bit further here. That's another 2 down for Riptide. Unfortunately, Slosher goes down for Ziphius. Smoking, throwing a Booyah Bomb, but the Zipcaster from the Luna is able to just do something. Unfortunately, they do get picked off really quick, but Quake on the flank is able to get one of them, but unfortunately, Ziphius does go down with the Rainmaker, and right now, Riptide, they have to get something going. They have this advantage right now. They need to get a push. They have to get all the way down to 23, and with how Ziphius has been playing, I find that really, really unlikely.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, they've been having a really good defense. I mean, here the tries just picking them off. I think they may have rushed a little too quickly on the side of Riptide. They probably will get this pop, and they do manage to trade with that try. It's just the Forge left. This is their chance. They barely have enough time.
They go down
with overtime, and oh my gosh.
Oh, they're rushing it. They're 4 points. Just the Rainmaker. That's another 2 down. Rainmaker goes forward, but unfortunately, with the power of the Carbon Rollers saying no, that will be it. Riptide, they saw the light at the end of the tunnel, but unfortunately, Ziphius just snatched it away from them and brought them back down to Earth.
Whoa, that was so close. I think Riptide just rushed that a little too much at the end there. They had a really good chance to keep the pressure up with that 3 down situation, but or maybe they didn't go fast enough. I'm not really sure. It's always hard to say with Rainmaker. It's like you gotta find the balance of how fast you want to shove the Rainmaker into their base or how slowly, and I'm not sure exactly what that balance was, but wow, that was quite the game at the end.
Yeah. It was, and I think what really helped Xiphius in their favor was their Forge just staying alive a little bit longer. Yes, they did go down in the end, but just staying alive and forcing, I think they did get one before they went down. Yeah, but just forcing them back just gave their team the space they need to breathe and gave their team the space they need to just get back. Because as you saw, when they went down, by the time they got back, they had the Wellstring back, they had the Fizzies with the they had the Tri-Slosher with the Fizzies back, they had the Carbon. So just staying alive is a very valuable asset for Xiphius.
Yeah, definitely. I think to respond to this on Mahi zones, I think a little more paint. I think that's sort of where they struggled there. I mean, that roller was wreaking havoc, and they did have a lot of damage on Riptide with the Sploosh and the Luna, but with such short range, I mean, with Luna and Sploosh, you sort of need. They do have a shot too, which I think if the shot can stay alive a little more, then get a little more aggro paint, because that edit can only push up so far. So I'm interested to see what their response to be. I'm assuming they're gonna have a lot, or like a bit more paint because of zones anyway. But yeah.
Yeah, I think the main thing that you talk about was paint, because the roller was able not to do anything they wanted, but they did a lot of what they wanted. So I think trying to neutralize that as much as possible. The edit, again, like you said, can't really move up that far. It can't be that aggressive painter. The shot can be a very aggressive painter, but if you have like a roller and a Sploosh and a blaster on your team, you're gonna have to have someone cover for them, and that's kind of what the shot has to do. And that kind of falls leaves responsibility to the edit to paint. So I think a weapon change that allows them to paint a little bit more would be very valuable for them.
Right, definitely. Unfortunately, I don't know a whole lot about their weapon pools. I don't know what to expect. They might keep the same. Maybe they'll just be like, maybe the shot will just lock in and paint. I don't know.
Yeah, I think if I were to guess, I would say with this the shot would probably switch to like a splash, because it's a really good at fighting. It does paint a lot. But other than that, I don't really know their weapon pool, so I can't really comment on like what they would play.
Yeah, that's true. I think Splash is a good idea, though. I mean, it is another shooter. A lot of shooter players can flex to something like that if need be. I think a crab would also be really nice on Mahi zones. Just thinking of the possibilities, I'm like, yes, okay, finally, we're starting. What could it be? What could it be? We'll see. They've surprised us once. Got a Wiper coming out, CRB, okay.
Okay, we do see a CRB, a Wiper, and the 52. Okay, a very underrated painter, but it does do the job of getting those kills really, really quickly. And we do see Jose switch off of a roller and go to the blaster. Unfortunately, they already get punished for it. That's immediate 2 down for Xiphius, causing Riptide to just go forward. It's working out in their favor right now. And they have a chance to get a really, really good hold here as a Sploosh already going for a flank. It's not going to work in their favor, though.
Yeah, great opportunity for Riptide to take advantage of their more aggressive comp with that 52 and that Sploosh.
Yeah, we do see the edit did pop Kool-Aid here, allowing their team to go in. Unfortunately, that's going to be a 2-down situation here. And now Riptide is forced to fight here. Unfortunately, that's another one down. And Xiphius will take the lead here off the back of this this Tri-Slosher and this Wellstring just being a lot of paint. Just sending a lot of things at Riptide. It seems to be their game plan, and right now it's working out for them.
Yeah, they have really stable positioning here. They have people watching both sides of the map. Those are really nice places for the try to be right under Riptide's ledges, just to keep them in check. I mean, there's not much they could do. They're really far up, and there's only 10 points left on the board.
10,
Riptide's got to
9,
react
8,
to this somehow. They do get
6.
2 down. They're going to be in zone. They need to cap it. It's
they're
neutral
there.
still. There's only 1 down. It's just a wellspring, and they do finally manage to cap, and they get that wipe out. Thankfully for them, that was terrifying. Mahi moment. They locked in, and now they need to get that same lockout that Xiphias managed to get on them, like, right now.
Yeah, they're gonna have to punch back really quickly here. Unfortunately, 1 does go down. I believe a hammer is popped out from the Wiper. That's another 1 down. Unfortunately, he does go down by himself. The Kraken does get a pick here. This is a 3 for 3. This Tri-Lucky does go down. It's just a lot of fights here, a lot of skirmishing. Jose goes down on the Range Blaster. It's like I just said, it's a lot of fights, a lot of skirmishing. Xiphias has been trying to get in, but every time Riptide has been able to match them like shot for shot. It's another 1-for-1 trade as Xiphias, as Riptide I should say, is within like 15 points of winning.
Xiphias, they're going in a little bit 1 by 1 here. They're just getting trades. That's not going to be quite enough. They do get 2 down. The Kraken's coming up, but the Kraken can't help pay that much.
Yeah.
Wow.
Kraken moment.
Okay, they locked out. It was a little bit. Xiphias seemed to be panicking a tiny bit there, and Riptide took good advantage of that. They were taking some 1v1s and getting trades, like I said, but they were also taking nice 2v1s. I think we're maybe about to see it. I don't know. On right here. Wow. But both teams were like really organized in their holds. They had really, really good holds, which is, I think can be really hard to do on this map, especially.
Yeah, I think holding on Mahi it's difficult, I will say, but it's not like impossible as we just saw here. And I think it was just Riptide being able to basically counter anything Xiphias did. They were just able, anytime Riptide or Xiphias tried to paint up the map, guess what? Someone was there to get to either A, get the pick outright, or B, kind of force them back. And I think they'll be able to carry that into the next game. But that's gotta hurt for Xiphias, being there, only having 3 left, and then just collapsing at the last moment. Hopefully, they're able to bounce back here.
Yeah, and I think that 52 from Riptide was a pretty good answer. They wanted to keep up the aggressive weapons they had, like 52 is still really aggressive, but like you said in the beginning, 52 still, I mean, it's a shooter, it's going to paint a little more, and I think that was a nice balance to strike with the paint level that they had and the aggression that they wanted to keep up.
Yeah, and I think they should keep it.
Yeah.
For our next map mode, Clan Blitz Barnacle, since like the last game, last set I should say.
Yeah, that's true. The 52 is really nice to have there. So yeah, makes sense that we'll see it again.
Yeah, because I think it's the alleyways that are like really strong for like wall weapons, like we saw last set. Another callback to what was it, like Sonic on the Squeezer, just being able to have a weapon that kills really quickly and just sits there with a wall. It's very hard to move. I think the 52 is gonna be good. It's just the weapons they put around it to be able to counter what Xiphias did is going to be really strong here. I think they have a good game plan here. It's just how they execute it.
Yeah, definitely. I wonder if they're going to go roller or CRB here on the side of Xiphias. I'm not sure how well the CRB ended up working out, and I think roller has a lot of potential on this map because there's a lot of places where you can like wallbang and stuff. Same with swords and that kind of thing. I mean, CRB I think is always good, but I think Jose it's possible that they're stronger on roller. So that might be just a good pick for them to go back to.
Yeah, I think this map does favor roller very, very slightly than CRB, but let's see what they decide to do here, as we do see, a decab and a
dynamo.
flings? Is that flings or a dynamo? I can really tell. It's a dynamo, my bad.
They have double cooler.
Okay.
Hi guys, comms are down for a moment, so I'm going to be taking over the commentary block at the moment while we try to get that fixed right now. So far, as I'm currently trying to fix the troubleshooting issues, we can see right now that Xiphias already got a overtime lead at the start, going ahead and getting 59 clams right now. Right now, it seems Riptide is just trying to reassemble right now and go ahead and just get their shot, trying to move up forward right now. Jose going ahead and just putting in a good dynamo pick right now. And Xiphias just holding mid control entirely as they're going ahead and trying to move forward. Jose gets a double kill there, which is very, very nice. And we can see right now that it allows for Xiphias to kind of move up and take their plat. Sploosh going and get a kill on E-Man right now. Riptide slowly starting to go ahead and recover. And right now, but even with that, so Xiphias still is holding on to their plat area and just keeping control of that right now. We can see right now the cooler being thrown out on the side of Riptide. The heavy edit going ahead and just getting a good splat, just trying to keep area control, letting their teammates in right now. As Xiphias right now has a power clam, let us in. Let's see here. We already see a jet coming out on the side of Xiphias, trying to at least hold Riptide back just a little further. And right now we can see the decab just moving in after that jet, and Xiphias is moving really quick to take up that room and take up space right now. We can see right now Xiphias continue to going ahead and putting their push up as they get another clam into the basket. And it doesn't seem like they'll be able to get much, but they do get points on the board, allowing them to get their remaining score down to 47. Riptide going ahead and just moving up right now with the beacon, placing beacons down, trying to get their teammates recovering. Riptide already seem like they have a strong suit going down as two people of Xiphias go down, and they continue to stagger their deaths. We can see right now Xiphias trying to build a power, not Xiphias, Riptide trying to build a power clam right now, going ahead and just getting a shot out. And, well, let's see, E-Man going ahead and cleaning up Riptide, just ending their push once and for all, and Riptide is just going to have to retreat here as they have no clams left on the board. Xiphias is once again going ahead and just gonna take mid and move up right now, and with 2 down on Riptide, they have another chance to push another ball in, and they're gonna do exactly that. We can go ahead and see right now that Xiphias still holding their plat, but they did get that 1 power clam in. Can they get more clams in? Unfortunately not, as the basket goes ahead and goes up. We can see right now Shiro just going ahead and making sure all of Xiphias clears out with their long range edit, and right now, we can just see Riptide just trying to move up, trying to take center, and overall just trying to maintain control, but they're having a really tough time doing that as E-Man and a lot of Xiphias just go ahead and move up right now into mid and just prevent Riptide's push altogether. We can see right now the Splatana going ahead and just moving up and trying to take room, as well as Sluggy just with the Wellstringer just holding mid control right now. Ziphius is still holding strong. They might be able to get another push in if they get another power, which that try is very close to getting. They are passing clams right now. That try has the power clam, and that's look like it's going to be game for Ziphius. Oh, but they threw it before the overtime, but Ziphius still gets another clam in. And Ziphius is going to take set 4 of this match. Now, I'm going to go away. Hopefully I don't have to talk any more than I have to. We're currently figuring out how to get our comms back online. I don't know what's going on, but just stick around. We'll get the commentators back on as we go ahead and try to troubleshoot the issue. You may see me back if things don't work out, so yeah. Impressive stuff from Ziphius, but I'm going to try to get those commentators back on cam right now, so don't go anywhere as we quickly try to resolve this technical issue.
Hello, I hear you. Okay.
No problem. Hello. Oh my gosh. Everyone. Dino insane comms. Like, I'm popping off. I was watching on Twitch. We are back. Thankfully for him, because oh my gosh, that's very difficult. Really great game. I sort of saw like the end. Ziphius taking that. Now we're going to Ship-Shape Tower. We were discussing if double cooler was, if we thought it was intentional or not. I don't know if we're gonna see it again from Ziphius.
I think not, mainly because of the mode. Because on clams, you could see the vision where you have to be like really aggressive. Like you basically control the objective, kind of like in Rainmaker. But on tower, since it has like a set path and a set speed, while yes, you can run double cooler, it just loses a lot since you don't have the special to break through the checkpoints with. You don't have a special to protect the tower with. So I think we won't see it, though. I do kind of see where they're coming from for going it on Clan Blitz.
Mm-hmm. I mean, and they did win, so
True.
I mean, obviously it worked some way or another. I'm sure it was intentional. I was thinking they had sort of a slow comp with the Dynamo and the decav and the Wellstring to a certain extent. But I think the cooler, maybe it kind of counteracted that slowness because it makes you fast and it means you can go in faster with less repercussions, especially if you have two coolers.
Yeah, I think what their plan was to try to counteract their very slow comp by having double cooler. Since with the double cooler, if you pop a cooler and then your cooler person and the other cooler person goes down, they could just come back and then that lets just continue the push or continue this aggression really well. Since you have another cooler, you basically have like a spare cooler that can do anything with, that you can pop at any time no matter what, and then you have like a dedicated cooler they can use for like actually getting those pushes off.
Yeah, definitely. So we're gonna see here a decav again, but it's the other one, I believe. So now they have a bubble, which could be really nice on this map. I can see the vision they're gonna have to place it in some nice spots, but it can definitely work out for them. We got Koi going on the Carbon now.
Yeah, we do see Jose on that custom blaster, the short range one, getting a nice direct really quickly here, forcing back another one on Riptide. Unfortunately, Koi comes by with the Carbon, just cleans them up, and that's another one. That's 3 down on the side of Ziphius. Riptide has a opportunity to try to get something going, but instead, the Wellstring just decides to go on tower and get at least some points going, and they are going to do that. Unfortunately, Koi's Reign of Terror comes to an end as the Tri-Slosher is able to get a pick there and get this push started for real.
Yeah, a Roller's worst enemy there is being marked, and it felt like they were marked for a really long time. They were able to live for a while, but unfortunately for them, Riptide went down a couple people. They're gonna try and fling again. They're not marked now, but they might be caught by this Wellstring. God, Quickwood just getting so many picks here. They're getting a double. They almost have Zuka. I'm a little worried for Ziphius because, I mean, they're 3 down now. Riptide really has to take advantage of another pick. Oh my gosh, Koi is just destroying them. Fortunately for Ziphius, they get stopped by Sluggy on the... Oh, and another pick from this Wellstring.
Yeah, Wellstring is just the king of just being at the right place at the right time. It does send 5 shots. There's a high likelihood that if you shoot by your teammate, you already get an assist there, and Ziphius gets a wipeout, allowing them to push a little bit further. They are going to get a little bit here from, I want to say it's about, they might get the second checkpoint, though that is going to be very hard since Riptide is already back. Firewave goes down in that 1-for-1 trade. Well, that's another one down. It's just the Octo shot trying to stay alive here. He's the last one, and with the bubble on tower, with everybody in front of it, that might be it. The last contest is done, and just like that, Ziphius just kind of steamrolled over Riptide. Koi's attempts went in vain there, as they weren't able to stop tower at all.
Yeah, really nice lockout from Ziphius there, getting Riptide 2 down, and then popping that GG bubble on the tower. I mean, Riptide had to get on tower, like, physically to stop it, otherwise it was over, and that's what happened. I feel like Riptide... I mean, Koi was, like, popping off, but I don't think they were able to enable the other players on Riptide, because they were down at least to a lot, it felt like, and that's why Ziphius was able to take advantage of that and get this really clean knockout.
Yeah, even though Koi could get those picks, it's just they weren't able, like I said, they weren't able to kind of allow their teammates to get in there with them. It was always like they were always by themselves. Kind of what the Carbon wants to do is be by themselves, be like a distraction. But they weren't able to get those picks when they really needed it. Yes, getting those picks was very nice. It was just that by the time they got them, either their team had already gone 1 or 2 down. So while yes, they were doing what they should have done, it was just at the cost that the rest of their team just couldn't keep up with them.
Yeah, absolutely. I think they did really well on Carbon. That being said, on Museum Rainmaker, I sort of expect them to switch back to Sploosh, especially if they're going for beacons. I believe they were running really fast beacons. I think I saw a lot of Inksaber sub on there, so I'm kind of expecting them to go back to Sploosh. They might keep Roller, like I said. They seemed a lot more confident on it, but that Sploosh might be what Riptide needs to enable the whole team.
Yeah, I think if they switch to Sploosh, I do think they will have a much better opportunity of getting that first pop and first checkpoint, since with the Sploosh, they would just be able to have their team like around them, basically cover for them while they go for the Rainmaker. And for Ziphius, I think they've done a really good job of kind of shutting them down in a sense that yes, they are getting those picks, but they're making sure that they target everybody else and then target the Sploosh, which is kind of what you want to do with those type of weapons. You want to kind of ignore them, not ignore them completely, but you want to like not give them your full attention, and then once you deal with like the big problems, then you deal with the others.
Yeah, exactly. It seems like Ziphius knows what they're doing in that situation to deal with that Sploosh. I don't know, hopefully Riptide can make enough of a distraction with that, because they don't have a lot of range to work with on this map. That's especially kind of concerning. So I think their best bet is forcing a distraction, because the sploosh can be ignored, like you said, and that's the best way to deal with it. But they need to find a way, I think, to really get in and force a distraction or force picks for the rest of Riptide to take advantage of.
Yeah, and I think this is a perfect map to, not perfect, but it's a really good map to do that, since you do have that immediate right drop. And if you have somebody, or you have like, again, a sploosh or short range weapon go there, then it makes it so much easier to get the attention of the enemy team. Since while yes, they can't just leave you there, they still have that open path towards your plat, and you don't want to give that up so quickly. So just being able to send somebody there, or sending 1 to 2 people to deal with that sploosh, or at least to look at that sploosh, is gonna be, or look at them, is gonna be super, super valuable.
Yeah, definitely. I think it's also possible that maybe Riptide is just playing a little bit out of sync. I feel like that happens to the best of us. Sometimes your distractor player is doing exactly what you need them to, but it's just something about the timing is wrong, or something like that. So hopefully they can sort of recollect, because I mean, this is set point for Xiphius, so Riptide has to just like breathe, not panic, even though it's, like I said, it's set point, and just hopefully for them get the reverse sweep or pseudo reverse sweep, since they already took a game.
Yeah, this is where we see if the pressure is too much to overcome, as we do see very little changes, and we do see the carbon from Koi Koi trying to go with what they know works, and we do see a 52 from Prokion, I believe I say it, on the Riptide, and 2 very aggressive comps from both sides. So I expect like a lot of fighting, a lot of 1-for-1 trades, as we do see Koi Koi go down immediately. Jose goes down though in return for a 1-for-1 here. E-Man trying to get a pick here on the plat, is able to. That's 2 down on the side of Riptide. Xiphius has an opportunity here. However, one's just sitting on top mid, is able to get the pick, and that's a 3-for-3 essentially, with only the wellstring remaining for Xiphius.
Oh my gosh, Koi Koi just was last, but they managed to save the Rainmaker from being picked up from anyone on Xiphius. They do get marked. They're not able to do a whole lot after that. Oh, they get a wipeout on the side of Riptide, and Sluggy is gonna run that thing quick.
Yeah, as the last person, they kind of had an obligation to run it, and it did work out in their favor. They decided to just go even further, as they do get to 45. However, I do think that was a bit premature, because the rest of the team wasn't quite there yet, and Riptide is able to respond with those strikes with this cooler. They do use a couple specials to try to get Xiphius out of their plat. It's going to work. That's 2 down again for Xiphius. Shiro in this corner in the free zone is not able to get a pick on that Tri-Slosh. Unfortunately, or fortunately for them, they do have coolers, so that doesn't really mean a lot for them. And right now, Riptide is kind of stuck in mid. They did get a couple of points, but right now with the Wellstring, with the Tri-Slosher, they're just not able to get a lot further.
Yeah, Riptide is going to need to take this plat before they're able to really push. I mean, that Rainmaker can't do it themselves. And it feels like, speaking of being premature, they sort of dropped a little bit early there. The team wasn't able to help them out. They got strikes coming out. They do get a pick on Jose, which is really, really good. And the try is going to be down too, so they're not going to get a cooler on Xiphius for a while if they didn't throw one out already. Nice crab coming out though from Xiphius. This is going to stall the Rainmaker out a little bit, along with that wave, because this was looking bad for them for a while. And now they managed to have 2 down, and they're going to make another push of their own.
No, they won't, because right there, Riptide was able to respond and get a pick right away. But Flucky trying to keep top mid. They are forced to back out just a little bit here from the pressure that was being mounted with those whales. And now we're in a very neutral state here. Neither team is able to get a lot going. Unfortunately, that's really bad for Riptide, as they do need still break that checkpoint. They still need to get that lead. This is a good start, getting 1 here. Jose on the blaster is able to get the direct right when he needs it. We're looking for another, gets 2. It's 1 more in mid. The shot able to get it. That's a 3 down for Riptide. This is their for Riptide. This is their chance. That's another one down. Jose popping off. We were talking about Koi earlier. Talking about Jose now as they're all the way up there on their plat, in their court basically. As Sluggy just runs through, snaking their way through, getting it down to 14. What a push! And Ziphius has the opportunity to hold a really good lead here.
Yeah, I mean, thankfully for Riptide, they managed to get Ziphius 3 down, because that was looking really, really bad for them. I mean, 14 is going to be hard for them to beat. I mean, they've only pushed to 88 so far. They don't have a whole lot of time to work with. They got about a minute and a half. I mean, they got to drop it. I just feel like they need to get the edit, and the 52 is holding the Rainmaker right now. They need to get them situated on Ziphius' plat if they want to make this push, but they're just not able to push up fast enough, and Ziphius' defense is, like, unbreakable.
Yeah, I can say that again. It's mainly this Wellstring and this Splash. Yeah, Wellstring and the Splash with the Crab. They're just able to respond to anything Riptide throws at them. Unfortunately, the cooler or the edit does get one. Shiro staying alive here. Not anymore. Unfortunately, that's 2 down again for Riptide. Ziphius is just playing really, really aggressive. They're allowing Riptide to come to them. So while yes, they don't have a cooler, that's exactly what they want to do. But an unfortunate Splat Bomb is going to take out the Rainmaker here. But with only 45 seconds left, Riptide, they're going to have to do something very drastic here.
Yeah, it looks like Ziphius really just wants to hold that Rainmaker on the left side, because it's not a good place for Riptide, and they just have so much paint on Riptide's plat, and they're just getting pick after pick on Riptide. They have to, like I said, they gotta breathe, because they got 20 seconds left, or a little bit more, and they need to just group. They need to lock in. They're 3 down, though, and they're still pushing on the side of Ziphius. They might just knock out.
They got the 4.
Fortunately, someone on Riptide stops them, and
wait, no,
time, but they do have a wipeout.
They're still going. There's 3 of them left.
With 5 seconds left!
Gets it. Clutches it up. And with that, Ziphius will get the gentleman sweep on Riptide. Just going for it at the very end. They knew they had a plan. They knew they were better. They felt that they were better, and they just proved it right then and there. And a fist bump to end it off.
Yeah, I mean, they weren't even giving Riptide the chance to come back, even though, I mean, they saw an opportunity to try and knock out, and they took it when they could have very well played it safe. I mean, they pushed to 14. They definitely could have done that, but they were like, you know what? If you guys are going to keep feeding into us, then we'll just try and get more points. Might as well.
Yeah. And shout out Jose. I know we were talking about it a little bit, but just getting those picks that were necessary, it just worked. I don't know, say it just worked. And Ziphius played really well around the blaster and the splashdown, and they just played pretty well as a team. So I think that was a really strong showing from them.
Yeah, and I just realized I actually saw Ziphius tweet about this too. They're 4-0 now in groups, so they're guaranteed to make playoffs now. So congratulations to Ziphius on making playoffs.
Yeah, congratulations to them. And unfortunately, Riptide will fall to 1-3. They still got one more week. They're gonna play for Pride, and I think that's what they can really hold their hat on. Is that, hey, we're done losing this week, or this week's over. Gotta focus on what's next.
Yeah, GG go next for sure. And I see a lot of potential with Riptide. They did a good job today. I really like their aggressive comps. And I think if they just have a little bit better coordination, they could really cook. I can definitely see it. So great job, both teams today.
Yeah, and with that, that'll be the final set for tonight from us at Ludi Tonight. It was fun. Tux, where can people find you?
If you want to check out my Twitter, it's TuxTux67. You can find it on !Mike if you want to find out where we are. I tweet art. I don't know if you're into art, y'all, but sometimes I post that stuff if you're into it. If you want to check me out, that's where I am. How about you?
Yeah, you can find me over on Twitter as well. I'm toxic though. I barely use it because Twitter's a cesspool and I refuse to. Find me on Discord, topic_2. It's I just like talking about the game. I like talking a lot, as you can very much tell. And yeah, that's pretty much it from me. And yeah, from us over at Ludi Tonight. Hope y'all have a great night. Have a great day tomorrow. Have a great week. And we'll see y'all next time.
Yeah, thanks for watching.